Say hello to the internet. Hello, internet.
Hello, internet.
Hello.
All right. Okay, so if you'd like to start the rolling, let's get started. Hey everyone. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Dales, although this time we are no longer in the Dales, we have transcended them. We've gone past the border forest and now we sit at the brink of Anarok, the largest desert in the world and one of the most notorious territories anywhere on the planet, anywhere on Toril. Particularly feared because of what is thought to lurk in the Underdark. The remnants of the Netherese Empire, a great magical empire that fell more than 1,000 years ago, is just a fraction of the perils that are known to be here. So welcome everyone. Here we are, at the edge of Anarok, at the edge of the border forest. We are accompanied by 35 Bedin women, local tribeswomen who were kidnapped and enslaved by the Zentarum. We have since liberated all of them, and in fact we've kept all of them alive through some kind of miracle of good logistics and planning. Although we might have reached their territorial homeland, they are nomadic people, nomadic tribes people, and we have next to no way of finding our way through the desert to discover where we might offload these women and return them to their families. That's not our only concern here in Anarok, though it was the primary driver for us coming here. We have also learned of a place called Sandfort Shembril, which is a Zentarum stronghold, essentially a processing place where the riches of the desert are brought to be catalogued and then shipped off to markets, usually further east. We are also interested in the mines of Tethiamar, a dwarven ruin that we have recently discovered has been claimed by the Zentarum, those slavers who we are so opposed to, and as a valuable source of iron, plus potentially mithril and adamantine as well, such a stronghold cannot be overlooked in terms of its usefulness both to our ambitions and, of course, our enemies. In addition to this, the most significant development that has occurred in Anarok in some time, in a generation at least, is the sudden appearance of a huge shadow in the sky, and beneath it a great vast sea. Mysterious they are, in spite of their volume, in spite of being so large as to be seen from scores of miles away. As far as we know, nobody's actually investigated them. On the contrary, some people who have gone to do some research, some very powerful druids, for example, very powerful, have not returned. But there's no evidence that they've been killed either. Druids, when they are slain, have a tendency to reincarnate, a kind of immortal soul that is brought back to the world in a new form. But there's no evidence that has happened either. So here we are at the edge of the Anarok Desert, emerging from the Fey-haunted border forest, without any real clear pathway. We have ambitions, we have locations, we just don't know about which one is our priority and how to achieve it after we have worked out what is the most important task for us. So I will let you guys have a bit of a discussion about that. We will assume that your characters are taking a short rest. You don't have to if you don't want, so I'm happy for you to override that. But this is the perfect location to do it. You've got fresh water that has flowed out of the Desert Mouth Mountains and through the border forest and now reaches the edge of Anarok. And once we break clear of the forest edge, we're going to be very, very exposed. Not just to predators, but also to the weather itself. So this is like a final step in before we take the plunge into from one wilderness into another.
We still have someone who can make food and water, right?
Yep, I can. Well, I can make water, not food.
Yeah, food's a bit harder.
Mm-hmm.
But we have restocked before leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure we had stockpiled a little bit of food. I can't recall exactly how much.
But especially in the desert, water's the important one. It's
Yeah.
unlikely we're going to be able to find as water as plentifully as we did in the forest.
No.
Pretty unlikely. Do we have a way of storing our water? Have we brought? Yeah. Do we have a way of storing?
Don't we have the kegs on the sides of the horses?
Yeah, they're like barrels. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think can't remember how much each barrel holds. What's that?
Each barrel is 40 gallons. Give or take, 1 gallon is enough for one person for one day. We have 35 people, not including the party.
Yeah, so
I
I think
think-
we've came to the conclusion that one entire barrel for everybody, including the women and whatnot, to make it a rounded, like even amount.
That's right. Yeah, so 1 barrel will last 1 day for our entourage. How many barrels have we got?
I think we have 4 at maximum, probably. I think we have 2 horses, and if we had a barrel on either side, that'd be 4 maximum.
And you wouldn't be riding it if they're loaded up with barrels of water. Not only would the horse not be able to bear it, like it would just be logistically impossible. Where are you going to put your legs? Is what I'm saying. So it's not a major concern because we don't need to ride, but that is just something worth pointing out.
The barrels don't necessarily have to be full, like when we're moving them about, if it's like an encumbrance issue.
Yeah.
I got this here, so I can make 10 gallons per spell level per day.
As long as you're willing to spend the equivalent of 4 spell slots a day, won't have an issue with water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can do that. I don't really see myself using many 3rd level spell slots right now.
Fair enough. So with the most immediate concern taken care of, I suppose we should think about the mission itself.
Mm-hmm.
Actually finding these tribes.
Do they have a way of communicating over long distance, the tribes? Like maybe like smoke signals or anything like that?
Yeah, smoke signals is exactly right, but they come with their own danger. Because the Badine are the least of your troubles in the Anarok. However, the Badine are still a major trouble. So smoke is likely to attract Badine, both good and bad, and plenty of them are slavers. In spite of the fact that their people are often getting exploited by slavery, it's as often as not the Badine doing the selling. And likewise, any other intelligent creature, like a manticore or, God forbid, a dragon, is likely to see the smoke and know exactly what it means.
Yeah. So, it's like, well, it's basically sending out a signal, but you don't know, but anyone can respond.
Precisely.
So I guess one suggestion would be to like set up camp on the edge of the forest where it's like it's more hospitable. Then like send a smaller force into the desert, like just into it, and then send off the smoke signal, and then sort of just hide and see who turns up. And if it's someone we want to talk to, we'll step out, and if not, we'll just sneak away.
Yeah, something like that could work, perhaps.
And because did they have like I guess heraldry wouldn't be the right word, but do they have anything like that?
Potentially, but the women wouldn't know it because, or rather, the women haven't been trained in it. That's because that is the Badine way to make sure that their women remain uneducated and therefore much easier to control.
Do they know the one they come from?
There's not like individual, or if there is individual smoke signals for individual tribes, then no, they don't know them. But
I mean, like a pattern on like a cloth or something.
Like try.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, they. I don't know what the proper term is, but they have tartans. Whatever. Again, whatever the phrase. I don't know what it is, but yeah, they definitely have different types of headdress, and the women probably have those headdresses. They weren't stripped of their clothing by the Zentarum. They're a practical people, the Zentarum that is, and thus they didn't see the need to throw away one set of rags and replace them with another.
Because my idea
Worth noting, however, that they come from different tribes, these Bedine. They're not just one tribe, they represent like 4 different tribes.
So the idea would be to like get like just a piece of paper with like each different symbol on. So if you run across like any, like if one Bedine, like I guess tribe of Bedine run across us, we'll just pull out the relevant one. It's like, look, we know this symbol, and that, so it's, you know,
Sure, they're not symbols. They're more like tartans, decorations. Like one will be checkered black and white, another will be striped yellow and black, that sort of thing. Like, yeah, they're not runes or symbols. They don't not hieroglyphs or anything like that. They are tartans, different coloured patterns in like the most primitive flags of the world.
I guess we'll just need an example of each one then. So
And you have that because the women have their headdresses, so you can or scarves or something. Yeah. So the point being that we do have representations of these different these 4 different tribes, checkered patterns, and so on. Yeah. Writing them down on paper would require coloured pens and pencils or crayons, which we probably don't have, but we have the physical representation, which is probably better anyway.
Eric has a forgery kit, which has a quill.
I can also disguise myself as a Bedine man with disguise self. And when dealing with them, especially since I know Bedine now.
Just disguise self, like change the sound of your voice there.
That's where actor comes in.
Yeah, true.
But do you speak Bedine?
Yep, that's what I picked up at this level.
I guess that would work pretty well then.
I got you covered.
I hope they don't ask you any like deep lore about the Bedine.
What's your favourite of your real Bedine name? Maybe Sand Dune?
Yeah.
Well then, yeah, I suppose if we could perhaps travel a safe distance and attempt to flag someone down with a smoke signal and hope it's a Bedine, and if it's not, then deal with them.
Alright, sounds like a plan.
I guess I'll gather the tartans, like, of the individual tribes.
Yeah, like it's just you, but the alternative is to just sort of pick a direction and start walking, and who knows where we could end up.
It's like in the forest, you can just we could just wander because there's, we could forage. There's rivers, but the desert is endless, nothing.
When we send out people, we could also whatchamacallit, do it along the Black Road because we know that the Bedine do follow that kind of.
Yeah, but so do the Zentarum.
Yeah. Do we have a map of the Black Road?
We
do.
We do somewhere around here.
I think we have some sort of...
Yeah, the Anarok map has it in information and maps.
As I recall, I don't think it's a literal road, but like a...
No, it's not.
A daisy chain of different resting stops.
Mm-hmm.
Precisely, that's right. Trail markers and so on. And those trail markers frequently disappear. Sandstorms bury them or expose them, confound and confuse people. But the oases are more or less permanent. So, look, we're relatively experienced trackers, and we don't have a lot of experience in the desert, but we have some competency in outdoor environments, so we're going to be better equipped for this than the average person. But yeah, it's still a challenge. Going down to the Black Road is a problem in and of itself, however, for two reasons. First of all, we won't know when we found it. The trail markers are designed to be followed, not to be discovered, if that makes sense. They're not meant to be intercepted. You're meant to start at point A and follow it all the way to point Z, rather than, just finding point C that happens to be 1 mile apart from point B and point D. You'd have to be pretty damn lucky to just happen to stumble across a marker when the nearest one is several miles in either direction. And the second problem is that if we do start at point A is Sandfort Shembril. Point A is where the Zentarum base can be found in this region. So the obvious place for us to start is also the most dangerous. Still, we don't necessarily have any other ideas. So
There's also, we could monitor the sand fort and watch either people come and go. The desert, we could probably see for pretty far where they go and basically like intercept the way they went at an angle. So we don't necessarily start there.
Watch for some sort of caravan, leave the fort, and then follow the caravan. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Something like that, perhaps, maybe. Although the problem is that as a party of like 36 strong, we're going to be. They're like people could spot us for miles away.
Mm-hmm.
There is no stealth with a party as large as ours.
No.
Yeah, I think our best bet is to stay fairly close to the forest, within the eyesight of the forest at least.
Yeah, I think we should stay close to the forest for now. See whose attention we can grab with the smoke signal, and if we don't have the look we're searching for, we might have to go deeper.
Mm-hmm.
Would we want to, I guess, ride the edge of the border forest northward so that the sand fort can't see the signal easily because we are kind of close to them?
We're still fairly far away from them.
I think we're pretty far. I'm not sure how far, but
Yeah.
far enough. I'm not sure if they could see a signal from here.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
It's not very deep into the desert, but my hope is that the Badine might have need of like wood from time to time, and what better place to harvest it than this forest that borders the desert?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they probably have scouts that go out and ride, see what's new.
Let's give it a shot. See what happens.
Yeah, and just hope that we don't call a green dragon or something upon us. That'd be pretty bad.
Well, I don't think it'd be a green dragon.
Yeah, what kind of dragons inhabit the desert?
Blue dragons.
Lightning, nice.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be quite the shocking experience.
Probably the nicest of the evil dragons.
The most reasonable, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know if I call them nice, but they're easiest to reason with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're not just wanton killing machines.
No, they're slavers.
Hey, reasonable. Why kill people and eat them when, one, there's not even that much meat on them.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Plus, you can get your scales rubbed.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. So who's going to go and start this fire?
I suppose I would.
Mm-hmm. Anyone accompanying them?
Suppose I'll be along.
I mean,
with the symbols.
I'll be going.
Mm.
Y'all
I
think it
see
would be better
for-
for me to stay with the group or go with y'all?
Yeah, I was going to say, I see a flaw with this plan. At least one person's going to have to stay behind.
I can stay behind with the group of Badine.
I suppose if you want to do that. Hopefully the 5 of us can handle whatever happens across us.
If not, pull out a new character sheet. Let's go.
Level 1, let's go. Start over.
Well, I feel like 5 players is pretty close to 6 players. Like if whatever we encounter is strong enough to TPK 5 of us, I don't think 6 of us would have made too much of a difference.
All right, the decision is made then. At what time do you want to head into the desert? And how long do you want to stay?
I suppose.
I don't know.
Is that either dusk or dawn? Because that's when people travel. And so it'll be the
I'd
biggest
say-
chance of something getting spotted.
I'd say probably dusk, just so the sun's facing away from us. Not in the background.
So you'll be lighting the fire at twilight?
A little before that, but yeah.
All right.
Yeah, dusk sounds fine to me. I'll give that a shot.
Cool. Ironically, we will start with Artisan rolling a D100 to see what happens in the forest while with a group of 35 people protected by a single robot.
Yeah, there's Grimes with him.
Blue dragon comes out of the desert.
Sorry, 37.
Here comes the 50 trolls.
50 trolls. 50 agitated trolls who want their money.
Would I have had time to get the Badine oriented how I wanted? I guess?
Yeah, sure, sort of, but you can't speak their language, can you?
No, but I can point. I try to set the marquees up with near some trees, kind of have a tree against some trees, and put whatever debris we can to kind of block them off, and have my steel defender just doing a constant loop with the passive perception of 16. It's better than mine.
Sure. The terrain here, you can move from it, but the default terrain that we've been following is a river. The Desert Mouth Mountains, which are very steep, although they're not as steep here at the edge. The foothills are less steep than the sheer cliffs. But anyway, you've got some relatively steep foothills on the south side of a broad river. The river itself provides a pretty formidable barrier, and you'll be on the forest side of that, unless you want to be elsewhere.
I'd be fine with the forest side of it.
All right, no worries. All right. So you've been. The rest of the party have already disappeared. You can see their smoke signal rising in the west. So I guess they've made their plans are going pretty well. Your steel defender spots an encroaching figure. They're about 8 or 9 inches tall. They have a pair of gossamer wings. Their skin is tanned like a Badine woman, and their hair is dark brown like their eyes. This small figure appears to be quite frantic as she is approaching your group of people.
I'd have at least my steel defender at least make it aware that it sees it.
Yeah, sure. So your steel defender barks or gets alerted and the little creature, the winged female fairy, she seems reluctant to approach the steel defender, but also, but drumming up the courage to do it all the same. Gets in there and then ducks away. Gets in there, ducks away. 2 steps forward, 1 step back, or flies 2 feet forward, flies 1 foot back.
I guess I'd watch what it does from where I am. I guess
It mimes. It mimes. It mimes frantically. It gestures. Come, 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 come. Tries to fly away, run back, fly away, run back, fly away, run back. The way Lassie might when Timmy falls down the well. It seems to be trying to get its attention. Trying to get your steel defender to follow it.
I guess I'd let him walk forward. Follow it, but keep within my line of sight.
All right, it disappears. You can either follow your steel defender or remain with the women.
I'll. I guess to the point where it would be still within my sight, my steel defender would stop, and I'd be staying with the women.
The little sprite, the little fairy, comes back and tries to get you again to follow. It flies around in the air and doesn't seem to be able to speak. At least doesn't have a language that you know, but it keeps roaring with its tiny little infantile voice and buzz 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 buzz. It's playing charades.
Can I try to see what it's saying, or try to understand what it's trying to say?
Sure, make an insight check, but you don't share a language, so it's not going to be easy. It wants you to follow it. It's roaring, it's desperate, and it's not giving up. There's a great deal of urgency to its message.
Well, I'm not going to leave the Vidine unprotected, so I guess my steel defender would just start walking away from it.
All right. The sprite comes back and tries to get your attention. And after about 5 minutes of attempting, it grows extremely frustrated. Very, very cross as well.
I'm going to just, I guess, have him ignore it as best as possible.
All right. After the creature bursts into tears, just starts crying uncontrollably, and flies off into the forest.
He'll just resume circling the camp.
Excellent. Meanwhile, we've gotten our fire going in the desert. How far away from the desert's edge do we travel? 1 mile? 10 miles? 2 feet?
We want to be a
Little
decent
over a
way into
mile?
the forest. We don't want them to be able to track us back to a camp.
Yeah. 1.5 miles, maybe? 2 miles?
Yep. So, Tim, you break away from the forest and go 2 miles into the desert. That's only going to take you half an hour or so, an hour maybe. And so you've got this fire burning before the sun has set, and the smoke begins to rise. Chaka, could you roll D30, please?
That was me. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. No worries at all.
Oh no!
There we go.
This is gonna be bad.
So, you've got your smoke going, and you're waiting for someone to come into vision. And as the heat haze begins to fade, as the cool of the evening takes over from the intensity of the day, that mirage effect that is caused by heat waves driving off the sand begins to abate, and the visions that you're able to see, the range of your vision becomes greater. Instead of like being able to see, say, half a mile or something before the heat haze just turns everything into a mirage, you're able to see for a few miles in the cool of the evening. The sun falls and the moon shines and the starlight replaces daylight. And in this ironically dimmer light, you're able to make out a ruin, a very small ruin that's probably another half a mile into the desert. And you're first able to see it when you pick up some gleams, like sun or light hitting metal and reflecting at you. But there's no one coming, there's no one emerging from it. You just happen to spot a ruin in the distance. A small ruin at best.
Hey guys, what is that over there?
Looks like some sort of abandoned structure.
You want to go check it out?
Hmm. I'm not sure. Perhaps we could get a little closer and look. If it goes deep beneath the sands, though, I wouldn't advise going down there.
Well, come on, follow me. I'll start walking towards it.
All right.
I
By the
guess I'm
time,
fine.
excellent. So we leave our campfire behind, or our signal fire, rather, behind. It'll keep burning for another half hour or so unattended. Throw whatever wood we've got on there and probably keep going for another hour at least. We travel a mile deeper into the desert. By the time we arrive there, the twilight is coming to a close. There's no sign of the sun anymore. And the stars are visible in the mauve-coloured sky, brighter in the west and darker in the east. This to call this a ruin is quite it's accurate, but it's also a little bit of an exaggeration. It appears to be a staircase and nothing more. There's a staircase that has what might have been some battlements or something, and they've all just been blown away by the sand. The sand is depressed here, a bit concave. The dunes are higher, 300 feet north and 300 feet east and west. It's essentially like a valley, a temporary valley that has been created as the wind carves it out of the desert. So there's a staircase here. It's broad, about 15 feet wide, though the steps themselves aren't particularly long, maybe about 10 inches long, barely big enough for the biggest feet. But curiously, we discover what was creating that sparkly reflection is gold. There are coins here, gold and silver and copper, and they've been scattered around the structure and down into the stairs.
The stairs are leading down.
They are.
Okay.
They lead.
What
This
kind
has
of?
got to be a trap.
I'll
100%
take the glove off my left hand and cast a produce flame.
Hmm. Hmm. The stairs disappear deep down into the sand below, and as far as the light is illuminated, the stairs just keep going. They appear to be weathered and old, and there are ancient runes here. They don't seem to be magical because they're faded and crumbling, but they are of a dwarven nature, dwarven runes. If anyone, surely someone can read dwarven.
I guess
Nope.
not.
Yeah,
No.
I'll just
Yes, not.
Your dwarven speaker
Alright,
is
so-
indisposed.
Mm-hmm.
Can I mage hand from a safe distance? Can I mage handle one of the coins?
Yeah, absolutely. You gold, silver, or copper.
gold.
You pick up a gold coin and bring it over to you. It's pretty. It's old, but it's been polished. I suppose which is why it's shiny. When I say old, I mean it's old. This coin is written in a language that I don't know if any of you can read, but it's not dwarf. What are some of the more obscure languages? No.
Druidic?
No.
It's probably Netherese, which I don't have.
Mm-hmm.
Weirdest language I have is
One side of the coin. What was that?
The weirdest one I have is Orin.
It's not Orin, no. One side of the coin has a scepter, like a big heavy mace or an oversized wand or something, and the other side of the coin has a mountain.
Hmm. Yeah, probably Netherese.
Quite suspicious to me that these coins, as old as they are polished and shiny.
It's from the sand in the wind.
I forgot that the main interpreter of hand signals isn't here either.
Mm-hmm. That's what
Take it back.
happened when the earth
Yep.
is cleaning the metal clean.
Do the coins look like eroded?
Damaged, but not eroded. Not eroded, no, but the edges are blunted and a little bit chipped. Damaged.
Yeah, perhaps you're right.
I mean, I'm going to start mage handing coins into a
Ooh,
pouch
this one's
without
a
touching them.
dwarf coin. You pick up a silver coin. It's not like the other one. It's a dwarf coin. It's got a dwarf's head on one side, a pair of hammers on the other, and dwarven runes.
But I'll start collecting them into a pouch without touching them, just using mage hand.
This one's from Cormier, and this one's from Hillsfar on the Moonsea. You don't find any other varieties of coins after that. There are only 4, and the majority of them are either dwarven or that mysterious scepter. Just a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I have returned.
Yeah, I'm not actually touching them because I don't trust them to not be, enchanted. But I can put them in a pouch with mage hand. That's fine.
So my guess was that maybe this is like a good luck thing with you throw a coin down the stairs if you pass.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
The coins aren't down the stairs, though. They're...
People missed. I mean, that once happened.
I thought they were scattered down the stairs, or they all just piled on the outside.
No, in a way you're both right. There are some at the top of the stairs. There are some deeper down as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I'm gonna head down and take a look.
Are you sure about that? I'm not sure it's a good idea.
Why not? Just stairs.
Sure, but haven't you heard the stories?
What stories?
Did the stairs go down as far as we can see?
Yeah, that's right. Further than 60 feet. Yeah. But they wind as well, so they'll disappear outside of your vision, even if you had 1,000 feet of dark vision.
Apparently, as scary as Anarok is and as inhospitable a place it is, beneath it is apparently even worse.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe that's where the Archdruid went.
Oh, suppose if you really want to go down there, I can't stop you, but
Mm-hmm.
I'll accompany you a few feet, perhaps, but I believe this is a foolish idea.
Mara will follow too.
All right. Chikara will head down.
All right. You travel down a bit over 100 feet in this curling, winding staircase. Maybe 130 steps, each about 1 foot high. Going down is going to be easier than going back up again. So these 130 steps that you take are fairly easy, but they might be laborious on the way back up. Anyway, in the meantime, you managed to collect 2d12 each of gold, silver, and copper. No electrum coins, for the record. And it eventually leads, going past several of these dwarven runes that become more legible the deeper we go. And they eventually lead to an incredibly long tunnel. You can only fathom how long it is because your dark vision is obviously quite limited. But in both directions, this tunnel is 30 feet wide, 30 feet tall, so it's a perfect rectangular prism. It seems to be flat. You don't have a spirit level, but it seems to be as flat as any highway on the surface. And it goes all the way this way, all the way that way, and is just empty.
Hello?
Hello? It echoes, and it echoes, and echoes. It doesn't bounce back at you, just keeps going further and further.
Have you reached a bend yet, or was it just straight down?
It curled. It's a winding staircase.
I'll just saying that it's a big empty tunnel, I'll head back up.
Yep, same.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Alrighty.
You return to the surface.
Well,
It's dark now, and your fire has gone out, and you wouldn't be able to see it anyway because it's dark.
glad that turned out to be nothing.
Might be worth bringing your robot friend over here with us. Have him check it out.
I suppose.
He can read the ruins, right?
I imagine he should be able to.
Flight.
Well, let's
Suppose
be back
Flight will
then.
go to what is it? Eleanor hold out his like magic bow and just sort of gesture at one of his arrows and point into the air.
Oh, you want me to make it light up?
Yeah, he'll nod.
I'll touch the arrow and make it glow with the light cantrip.
Then I'll shoot it into the air and cast daylight with the magic arrow.
All right, there is a
I'll just
signal
select-
flare that goes up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll select 60 feet straight up.
sure.
And that's 60 feet of bright light and 60 feet of like dim light. Pretty big, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, it flares through the sky and then falls to Earth soon after.
I think, like with a spell, like it just casts the
Yeah.
spell so that it just persists in the area like for 1 hour.
No, you can't because you cast it on the arrow, so it'll go with the arrow and then fall with the arrow.
I think it uses the arrow as the spell component with the magic bow. If that's how, unless I've just confused myself. It's on the floor.
No, it's like a flare. It basically goes up and then goes down again.
Yeah, but it's still pretty bright.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is pretty bright.
All right. So yeah. That's a good question. I would think not, because I think that you guys were saying that you wanted the camp to be deep enough in the forest that it wouldn't be easily discovered, and by that rationale, it's likely not going to be able to be seen from within the forest either.
All right.
That was my understanding of your plan.
That was just like continuing our fire went out, so this is continuing the signal for like people to like come over.
Oh, that's
Sure.
fine.
Fair enough.
All right. It's a dark, starry night, and it becomes cool in the desert very, very quickly.
Well, it seems like no one is coming. Shall we head back?
Sounds like a plan.
So sand
All right.
is underfoot.
Let's take it back to the edge of the forest. How are you going to find the rest of the camp? It's dark now, and you didn't necessarily reach the very edge of where you came in. Or if there is a way that you might do that, you might have to specify it.
I would have. I say before that when we get separated, if I'm going somewhere, I put my block that says what direction I went.
You haven't gone anywhere, but I'm not sure. Like, imagine a forest like literally 200 miles wide. You can probably guess within, say, a mile or so where you've come in with an educated guess. Maybe you can even guess within 1,000 feet. But 1,000 feet's a hell of a long way. And journeying, there's no door. You didn't leave any signal marker. You didn't leave any tracker, any indicator of where you went in and where you went out. How do you know if you're walking in the right place, or if that's oak is the same oak as the one that we went out on? You know what I mean? Like, the desert is a featureless terrain, so winding your way back can be challenging. Whereas the forest is exactly the opposite. It's filled with so many features that are all the same that it too becomes very difficult for you to orientate yourself. Does that make sense?
Mm.
Yeah, I think so.
Guess we'll just have to poke along the edge of the forest and hope we happen across it.
In the dark.
Yeah, foiled by our own.
I mean, it's not too
plan.
important that we get back to base. We can just camp until dawn and then find our way back.
True. Although we did camp near a river, didn't we? We could look for a river.
We did camp near a river. That's right. We did camp near a river, and that river is near the base of the mountains. So that might be a great indicator.
All right, sounds like a place to look.
Excellent. And with that in mind, that is like I hadn't thought of it myself. So it wasn't like just a challenge for the sake of inconveniencing you. Like I was genuinely wondering how we might do it. But there, as you point out, there is a river, there is a mountain range, and once you find the river, finding the camp becomes pretty simple. All right. We've made it back. The Bedine women are beginning to settle down, or not that they ever really do settle down in this environment. It freaks them out. And so when the party starts approaching, the crunch of us trampling through the underbrush and alerting the owls and the squirrels who run away from us puts them on high alert, and they are greatly relieved when they realise it's just you.
Well, it'll inform Artisan that we're unsuccessful
Hmm.
in finding anybody. Although we did find what appear to be dwarven ruins and a couple of handfuls of gold, silver, and copper pieces. Perhaps if you head out next time, you can take a look.
Or we can try inspecting the pieces.
Sure, I'll show you the different pieces that we've collected and how they've come from four
We
different
probably
places.
should have like sketched out the ruins and brought them back to him.
Yeah, true.
I can try to identify where the dwarvish ones at the very least that came from.
Like if they came from any particular city or dwarven mint or something like that.
Yeah. Usually the coinage would say something as to where they belonged.
Yeah, they are Tethymar coins. They were forged roughly 400 years ago.
Ooh.
Well, the other ones are much older, or some of them are, the Scepter ones, whereas the Cormyrean and Hillsfar coins are far more recent. The Cormyrean coins have the king of King Arzun IV, who only died 2 years ago. Yeah, so a smattering of coins. Some of them a handful of years old, some of them more than a millennia old.
Could this have been part of a hoard collected by a creature?
That would make sense. But I'm not sure what kind of creature, besides dragons, hoards coins, and a dragon would be more careful with this hoard, surely.
Hmm. In the hours and hours that I was waiting for them,
Yeah.
I have worked on making those health potions, by the way.
Oh yeah, yeah, sure. It's going to take about a day to brew a single potion, I'd say. We don't have like a laboratory or anything, no Bunsen burners. You got your herbalism kit, which is great. And you can have rigged up a single healing potion.
With the alchemist supplies.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, with the alchemist supplies. So
All right.
you've got the gear that you need to do it. It's just that the working conditions are suboptimal. It's one thing to work in a laboratory; it's another thing to do advanced chemistry over a campfire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deduct one of the potions of healing supplies from the party well.
Who wants to hold on to the potion of healing?
It's just a standard one, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Seeing as I have a multitude of ways to heal myself, probably someone else should have it.
Yeah, same.
I think Carrick is the only one who can't heal himself.
Alright.
Thought I didn't recommend it because I thought I was in the back, but I'll take it.
If it does need to be taken to someone, my still defender can grab it from you and deliver it.
There you go, potion of healing.
Yeah, I reckon Flightless should have it. Seeing the only one that doesn't have any healing magic.
I was saying, because he was worried about if someone else needs it while he's in the back, I was saying my still defender can grab it from him.
I think it's funny how
Yeah.
I'm the only non-spellcaster.
Yeah.
Are we all half casters? Besides Carrick?
I'm the full caster.
Full caster with one level dip and something else.
So are we planning on going back to the stairwell the next day? Or...
Probably. I'm thinking that we're gonna have to go deeper to get any attention, so we can look at it as we pass by.
Hmm.
And especially if we go deeper, we might just want to take the entire party.
Yeah.
And leave the Bedine to fend for themselves? They are tribal warriors
I know
now.
it's not a good idea, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's on another point. It's also just not fun to be like, yeah, we're all going on an adventure. You stay behind.
Yeah.
I suppose we could bring them with us, and as long as it's not something like a dragon, we should hopefully be able to defend them.
We have Grimes to take care of them, but he's brand new, and there's 35 of them, and yeah, the dragons could be both above and below the surface.
And there's still the horrors of the forest if we leave them.
Suppose
can
if
stay
we
behind.
look at it like this, like if we leave just one person with them and a dragon shows up, like if the whole party, one person, they're screwed either way. So we might as well have the whole party there.
Yeah. And we might just want to be seen and fight off anything that we don't want talking to us.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure some Badine scouts or something along those lines would see us.
Yeah, I just hope they don't mistake us for slavers, and if they do, then we're gonna have to act quickly to prevent a misunderstanding.
One thing is, though, the slavers are usually walking out of the desert, not into it.
Yeah, true.
And plus,
So they might
that's
as
what
well,
the
might be,
Tartars are for.
yeah. They might be slightly apprehensive about just full-on attacking us for that alone, maybe.
I don't think there's any way to do it without risk.
Plus, especially if you have
Yeah.
the women with us, they can very quickly just be like, "Oh yeah, these aren't slavers."
And
Yeah.
Mara can also speak Badine now.
Whatever you choose, the women will absolutely refuse to go into the Underdark.
That's fair.
Well, it sounds like we'll get some rest then. And do we want to travel during the day, or do we want to take an extended rest and travel during the night?
I think wake up at dawn, do some traveling, and then because you have the marquees, and then marquee up until dusk, and then keep going after that.
Yeah. How cold does it get in Anarok at night? I know
We
for...
don't know.
Oh.
Mm.
Can Mara ask the Badine? They would know.
They say very cold.
Like below freezing cold?
I don't really understand, but but if you mean if they ask like, do your water skins freeze? Then no.
Does your water turn to rock?
Yeah,
Googling the Sahara is probably a good comparison to Anarok.
certainly is.
It can sometimes get to as low as 25 degrees Fahrenheit during the night. So about minus 4 degrees Celsius.
Is there a Badine word for freeze or ice?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's a place they tell you that there's a place called the High Ice, which might be on our Anarok map. Oh, that's just over.
So-
It is in fact on the Anarok map. The northern sector, the northern 1/4 of Anarok is all ice.
Gotcha.
And that's got to be something
Yeah, but I'll ask
going
him.
on.
I'll ask him if at night does water become like the high ice.
They say no, but then some of them disagree and say yes, but the majority is no. One minute.
How can I get the feeling that we're like low level like players going into like the high level zone?
Yeah. No, we're here now. We've made our bed. We have to lie in it.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I'll roll deception then.
There's a lot of dry wood at the border between the forest and the desert, so could I be working on collecting firewood throughout the night
Yeah, sounds like a good idea.
and putting it in my bag of holding?
Yeah, if the Google search is anything to go by, then it gets below 0 Celsius, that is, during the night.
Sounds comfortable.
Yeah.
It's like 100 degrees Fahrenheit and then down to 25 during the night.
Kamara asks what the Badine do to stay warm in the desert at night.
Same thing they do to stay cool in the day. Wrap up.
Okay. Did the Bedouin women have sufficient wrappings?
They wear hijabs, burqas, and that's it's optimal for desert conditions. It keeps the sun off in the day and keeps the warmth at night. It's not great, but it is designed for that environment.
Okay. Just want to make sure we're just not going to have them kill over while we're still trucking.
They live in tents. They are tent cities, and they tend to have large congregations of people. Like one guy has multiple wives, and they all live within the same tent along with the children. So the body heat combined with any campfires that are lit within the tent do the trick. It's that's how it works.
All right.
But the Mongolians, so Chaka her people would have almost identical means, since the open steppes is more or less a desert. Featureless terrain at a northern altitude, northern longitude, latitude.
Right then, I guess if we travel by night, we have the stars to navigate, and if we're moving, even if it's quite cold, just the act of moving will help keep us warm.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas during the day, it's quite the opposite. Moving would just heat us up further. Well, then, of course, you do have the problem of it's, nighttime. Can't see very well.
And sleeping in the day, especially in 40 degrees Celsius, 100 degrees Fahrenheit, is hard.
Yeah, so pros and cons to each.
There are no good options here, as you pointed out quite some time ago.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So are we spending the night in the forest, or and heading into the desert in the morning, or are we just packing up now and moving in somewhat exhausted? I guess this has been a particularly strenuous day, but we have already spent a full day wandering through the forest. There are alternatives. Well, we have three options. We can either go now when we're fairly tired. We can either spend the night here in the forest and head out in the morning, or we can spend a full 24 hours in the forest and head out the next day. The next night, rather.
I would say we should probably rest and go. If we're going to travel at all, I would say it's going from dawn till noon is probably the best time, because then we have light and it's also the coolest part of the day.
Yeah.
All right. Eleanor, roll a D100. We're still in the forest.
Such 13.
Yes. All right. During the night, we are disturbed by a crashing. It's not thunderous, but it's pretty loud. We hear it coming long before it reaches us, assuming that it's going to reach us at all. But it's so prominent that the trees shake. To describe that a little bit better, imagine that there was a bulldozer going through the forest, right? And it's big enough that it knocks over the smaller trees and also causes the larger ones to shake as it passes on by them. It can't knock over the big trees, but it's able to nudge against them, and when it does, the trees shake. So the ground isn't shaking. It's not like an earthquake, but you are able to pick up the direction it's coming from, and it seems to be following the same path that we did, coming along the river, essentially following in our footsteps. We hear it coming hundreds of feet, 1,000 feet maybe, before it gets to us, assuming that it does come to us.
We better get ready for whatever it is if it happens to stumble across us.
Mm-hmm.
Any spells that you need to cast?
Who has the lowest hit points? 3 people who have the lowest ones.
Oh, I've got 36.
I'm at 40.
All right. So Mara, Flightless, and who said they were at 40?
Yukara.
All right. I'm gonna cast Aid on y'all. So for the next 8 hours, your hit points are increased by 5.
Yay.
Preparations are made. Sorry, yep.
Great Water's obviously cast. Just saying it.
Which is?
Create water to refill one of the barrels.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yep. Yeah, worth mentioning since, they are slots you can't use for something else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, after all our preparations, whatever it is doesn't make it to us anyway, at least not initially. So imagine that we hear it from about 1,000 feet away, maybe more, maybe 1,500 feet. Whatever it is, travels along the river bank for, say, half of that distance until it's somewhere between 500 and 1,000 feet away, out of sight, but still certainly within earshot, only a couple of 100 meters away. The crashing, the slow crashing, as if a bulldozer crawls through the forest, is replaced by splashing. No more crashing, now there's splashing. The splashing doesn't cease, but it also isn't constant and continuous. I guess like a child playing in a bathtub. It doesn't go on all the time, but it is recurring.
So,
A
is there anything in
giant
the
taking a
river?
bath, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
What was the question about the river?
Is there anything? Can we see anything in the river?
Not yet, but the splashing's only just begun.
Yeah. So does the splashing come from up or down river?
Upriver, though it flows out of the mountains, past us, and out into the desert. So any leaves that go that are caught in the current will eventually go past us.
We can have a group of us go and investigate.
I'll head in to the forest.
I'll go this time as well.
Are we sneaking up?
I am.
Well,
I'll attempt to
sneaking's
sneak
not
as
going to
well.
go so well.
I'll attempt to sneak then.
If
Same.
you're planning on being sneaky, then I'll stay.
Those of you who are investigating can make your stealth rolls. The conditions suit you, so you'll have advantage.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, pretty brilliant, all in all, except for artisan.
I'm going to use my inspiration.
Yeah, sure.
$17.
All right. We follow the river as easy a path as can possibly be followed. We're all on the same side, all on the northern side, the forest side of the river. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Exactly. So you follow this river bank. It's fairly. It's probably about 15 or 20 feet wide, and only generally only about 10 feet deep, but sometimes shallower, sometimes deeper, sometimes broader, sometimes narrower. Naturally, and you follow this relatively narrow and relatively shallow river. Until you come to an absolutely enormous bear. Huge. The thing, if it was standing on its hind legs, would likely be close to 15 or even 20 feet tall, weighing in at several thousand tons. An enormous bear, certainly the biggest bear any of you have possibly seen in your life. It's splashing around in the water, attempting and more or less failing to catch various fish. At one stage, it stops and sniffs the air in your direction, then gets distracted by a jumping fish and jumps towards it, like a dog might when it's playing with its own shadow.
Wasn't the guy we spoke to previously a werebear?
Yeah. I'll kind of come out and say something in Druidic.
The bear roars at you.
Okay. I'll cast Speak with Animals then.
All right. And the bear says, "Who are you?"
I am Chara. I come from far off to the east. Who are you?
"I am Bear, and I am the biggest bear."
I can see that. What are you doing in the woods so late at night?
"I am catching fish, but the fish are too fast, and I have not caught many yet."
Oh, can I help you?
"Oh, yes. Can you do any tricks?"
I could do this. I'll kind of light my hand on fire, produce flame.
Oh, that's a very strange trick. I have seen people do that trick before, though. I was raised by people who could do that trick. Would you like to see one of my tricks?
Yes.
Stands up and puts its paws on its eyes and then takes them off again. And it does it again.
This is a circus bear that's escaped.
I can make things disappear. Closes its eyes and then appears again.
Whoa. Do you want to hurt his feelings or not?
Oh, that's really impressive.
Yes. I deserve a treat for that. What are you going to give me? I'll become angry if you don't give me a treat.
I'll throw him like a chunk of rabbit, like a rabbit leg.
Oh, he loves that. And it's like tiny. It's like eating a matchstick. It's so insignificant. 1 pound of meat for 4,000 pounds of bear, but it loves it the same way as a dog might love an individual biscuit.
Mm-hmm. But here, let me help you fish, and I'll take out my spear and kind of wade into the water. Start spearing some fish.
"I'm not afraid of you," the bear tells you, and the thing's 20 fucking feet tall. It's towering over you. Tells you, "Look, I'm not afraid of you." As if you should expect it to be.
Okay, I'm not afraid of you either.
Why not?
Oh, why should I be?
I don't know. I just thought maybe you would be.
Eyes downcast.
Did you want
Everyone else is afraid of me.
"Can you make the water more deep? It only comes up to here." And he shows you his belly line.
Not really, but we could go where it's deeper. Here, follow me.
Oh, all right.
Farther downstream to...
And it walks on all fours through the river, and even on all fours, it's still 12 feet tall, so it's still got its head above the water.
Mm-hmm.
We start leading our 4-ton bear towards a 2-ton bear towards our camp.
Can I try thorn whipping fish I see and try to pull them out of the water?
The bear is startled at first, but then, but soon after, it seems to adjust to it really quickly. Evidently, magic doesn't really frighten it. The sudden movement is a bit startling, but making fire and making whips out of nothing seems to be, to the bear at least, as natural as catching fish with one's paws.
Mm-hmm.
Say, Mr. Bear, do you want to come with us?
Where are you going?
I'm looking for the druids.
Oh!
Desert.
I'm friends with the druids. It was druids who raised me. They made me big and strong.
Oh, I can see that.
Where in the forest do you wish to go?
It's out of the forest, actually.
Oh. Out of the forest? That's not very safe.
I mean, it's not very safe in here either. But you're a big tough bear.
But it's very hot outside of the forest.
Aye, that's why they're going to be traveling at night.
There are not many fish either.
Well, better catch a lot of them then.
Okay.
And then we get to a better spot where the fish are all transformed into a bear as well and help them catch fish.
You are a very beautiful bear. Are you in season?
No.
Oh. When will you be in season?
Oh, you know. Eventually.
Oh. Is that a long time?
Gotta shrug.
It doesn't really understand, but the ways of humanoids are pretty unfathomable. So, it sort of suspects that it's not going to get a much better answer than that, and doesn't seem to be particularly bothered by your lack of direct answer. Yeah. So, how are you going to catch enough food to feed a 4,000-pound bear?
See, that's what good berry is for.
Oh, I can I'll destroy water in front of
Ah.
all the fish there.
He likes that. He likes that. You can tell he's not a real druid because he likes it when you destroy water. That's really cool. That's capitalist as fuck. I love that. That's fantastic. Anyway, so yeah, you destroy the water, and there's plenty of fish and small freshwater crayfish and reeds and tubers and whatever else a bear could possibly want. Although he could eat 100 pounds of food and still be hungry. So, but the bear is entertained at least, and fed on top of that. The Badine women are completely freaked out, but they're kind of used to being freaked out by now. Like it's a constant state of anxiety that just rises and falls in intensity.
They're starting to become jaded.
Yeah, that's right. Just like adrenaline is half of their diet these days.
Giving the Badine women the 2020 experience.
They leveled up from the adrenaline alone.
Exactly right. Yeah, that's it. Surprisingly enough, nothing bothers us during the night because we have a 4,000-pound bear to watch over us. But in the morning, whether he had a change of heart or whether he simply didn't understand last night, when we reached the edge of the forest, he's only been out of the woods for a minute or two, and he starts complaining about having a dry nose.
Here, put this on. And I'll kind of hand him like a little bandana to keep the wind off his nose.
Alright, drapes the bandana off its nose, and it blows off, and he gets down so that you're able to tie it on. But again, 10 minutes into it, and the bear is panting. The desert heat is still mild at the moment, still early in the morning, and his big shaggy coat, which is thick enough to keep snow off, is proving to be a slow way to die.
Oh yeah, we probably shouldn't make him continue.
Yeah. Do you want to head back to the forest for like a day or two? I'll come find you again.
All right. I will stay in the river, and I will wait for you to do your magnificent trick again.
Catch lots of fish for me, okay?
Yes. And while I am gone, perhaps you would like to practice a trick as well.
Oh?
Take your paws and cover them over your eyes, and the whole world will disappear.
Like this?
You're getting it. You're getting it. Like, it's not working, though. You're not making the world go dark. Like this, and he does it to himself. That's how you do it.
Ah, I see. I'll
Uh-huh.
keep working at it.
All right. All right. You'll get it eventually. He's confident.
I need to pick up this.
You see that you're doing the right gestures, but it's not having the right effect. So you're doing something wrong. Doesn't know what it is, but you're doing something wrong.
What you need to do is you take your hands to cover his eyes.
That's exactly. That's the trick. That's how this works.
You're a magic bear. It's when your eyes are covered. It doesn't necessarily have to be your paws.
Not fair.
That's it. That's you've worked out the bear hack. This is the bear's trick is now known to you.
Next time you just use Mage Hand to push his eyelids down.
Fantastic. All right, so Mega Bear wades around in the river, and he will probably remain in the area for a couple of days. But he is quite indecisive, and there's no guarantees. All right.
Oh,
So,
So say I can cool him down with ray of frost, right?
sort of like it would be like a splashing water on your face when your entire body is overheating. It's effective, but only mildly.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
Just constantly cast it outwards on the head.
that's it. Just keep hitting him with a D4 damage. Bam, bam, bam.
Oh no, it's 2d8 now.
There you go.
Yeah. What kind of metals were the coins?
Gold, silver, copper.
Dang it. I was hoping there was
The
like a
copper
platinum
ones
or two.
Copper ones are probably ruined, but gold and silver are in good condition.
we had I was gonna summon the steed.
Yeah.
War- yeah, actually, yeah, warhorse is fine.
Yep.
So
Does it come armored as a warhorse, or is it?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. No. Yeah, that would be good. It wouldn't be good anyway. The armor's only going to cause the horse, who isn't well suited to the desert in the first place, it's only going to cause it even more stress.
That sounds good.
All right. So we spent about half an hour of morning daylight with our bear, taking him out and taking him back again. And by the time we actually set off into the desert, even though the sun is still very low on the horizon, in fact we probably can't even see it, it's blocked by the border forest as it is, the day heats up really fast. And we're sitting on a not intolerable 30 degrees, which is probably about 88 or something Fahrenheit. Not intolerable, but when you know it's only going to get hotter, it's irksome.
Mm.
Excellent. The tiefling is doing just fine. 30 degrees is mild.
Looking at the rest of us, like, what are you all panting for?
I don't like it.
Would I be affected by the heat?
Unless you have heat resistance, yeah, it might not be like uncomfortable per se. You might not have like pain receptors that do it, but you'll malfunction. Your oil might seize up. You might get sand in your joints. Whatever magic tech that operates you is not made for these conditions.
Gets hot like a seatbelt.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
Cook
Start
an egg.
frying eggs. Is that my snack
There's too much.
Does that mean? Does that mean whoever attacks me gets burn damage from seatbelt heat?
Whoever holds your hand, you're like King Midas now.
Yeah.
All right, Mara, D30, please, as we walk into an environment that suits you. Oh, before you even do that, do we want to go back to that old tower, the old staircase, rather?
It might be worth passing by it so Artisan can have a little look.
Yeah.
All right. You're sure you picked up all the coins, but maybe you didn't because there's a scattering of coins here.
Would identify see if it has any spells on it?
Yeah, detect magic would see if it has magic, but identify would need to be magical for you to identify. If that makes sense, right?
Okay.
So in a way, it works because it identifies that there's nothing there. So that's kind of a roundabout way of doing it. The inefficiency being that detect magic lasts as long as you need it to last, and identifies only for a single object.
Can I see with investigation if there's any like tracks or whether or not like they came from like up the stairs or like from the desert?
Absolutely, investigation will work. Survival will also work. Yeah, go ahead. You don't even find your own tracks from yesterday, whether the wind has blown them away or not, or whether you've got sand in your eyes. None can tell.
Doesn't even see coins.
Huh. What staircase?
Since they wanted my fresh eyes on it, I'll do an investigation too. Not at advantage, so 14.
So you understand why Flightless is having such difficulty, because the sand has basically blown away all of our tracks up on the surface. So there are no tracks anymore, at least not ones that are any more distinguishable from a sand dune. So what could be a footprint is just as likely to just be an effect of the wind. But you do spot them inside. There's no wind inside, and so you do spot where, if not footprints, at least the trail of sand that we've left behind as it falls out of our boots and out of our pockets and goes back down. But there doesn't appear that anyone has come up or come here. The coins just are apparently somewhat randomly scattered. There's less coins this time, probably about half as many as last time. A d12 of each if you want to roll it. But there's no evidence that anyone has come up these stairs or gone down them.
Did you say that there was symbols on the rock in Dwarvish, or was it the coinage?
Both. Some of the coins have dwarven things, but the rock and the stairs itself do have dwarven runes, and what would they say? It's mostly iconography at this point, iconography of the settlement of Tethiamar, but the staircase indicates that there is a road beneath us, a highway, in fact.
This may be an alternate entrance to Tethiamar, then, if it keeps mentioning it.
Wait, could this be... If this is an alternate entrance to Tethiamar, perhaps the scattering of coins is, I don't know, the Zentarum looting it, coming back up, and there's just so many riches that they just spill coins as they go.
Huh.
But you think
I don't
there'd be
know.
a trail of, like a consistent trail of coins?
Yeah, I guess you're right. I'm not sure then.
If I stand where the coins were, like, is there like a point of view that someone would stand where they would see like the glistening of the coins?
That's a good question. Make an insight check. You didn't pay much attention last time, and so you're kind of trying to build on the knowledge that you didn't directly observe last time. Anyway, insight 17 is good. It looks like they are in a position where the sunlight would catch them and the gleams would be potentially visible from a long way away. Now imagine this. Imagine you're lost in the desert and all you have is a mirror. So you want to put the mirror somewhere that it's going to reflect off the light. At the highest point, and perhaps the point where the sun's angles is most likely to strike it. That's what appears to have happened to some of the coins. They're in a particularly prominent location, the very top of the staircase on like a sand mound. But they're also placed intermittently on the stairs, not in clusters, but in small groups. There's 3 here, then, oh look, another 10 steps down, there's 3 there, and another 10 steps down, there's another 2, and 4 steps down, there's another 1. It's
Does any of this relate to like the thieves' cant, or like the
ooh. No, but we'll use that insights roll again for the same question. And no, while it doesn't seem to be a message in Thieves' Cant or a message in Drow, it does seem to be deliberate. Like Hansel and Gretel leaving the trail of breadcrumbs behind them. They're not placed every 3 feet, not by a long shot, but they are kind of placed, like there's a small handful here, then a small handful there, and roughly the same distance, roughly 10 or 15 feet apart, 10 or 15 steps. There's another 2 or 3. It's the consistency is far from 100%, but with an insight of 17, it's still apparent.
Too much to be an accident.
Too much to be an accident. It could be a coincidence, but it's a hell of a coincidence if it is.
If no one's opposed, I can send my Steel Defender down with instructions to run back up if he runs into anyone or anything, or when he reaches the bottom, and then he can communicate what he saw. I won't be able to see through his eyes, but he can tell me when he gets back if he comes back.
Wasn't the tunnel a dead end when we explored it last time?
Not a dead end. It reaches, on the contrary, it reaches a flat pathway that extends both directions, east and west, as far as our dark vision can extend.
Maybe the Black Road is a literal road.
That's the Black Road.
Alright, I'm willing to wait a few minutes while your defender has a little look if you want.
Especially since something might be waiting down there, and since something obviously knows that we collected those coins.
So can I compare the coin placement today from yesterday? If Linus can remember where they were.
Yeah, and we'll still keep using that insight check again. It's not the same, but and not even the same number of coins. But again, with Hansel and Gretel as an analogy, one time they used breadcrumbs and the other time they used rocks. They wouldn't have put the rocks and the breadcrumbs in exactly the same location, but the path, they took a dozen steps and dropped another rock, a dozen steps and dropped another rock. It's that level of consistency, far from the same, but the pattern is similar. Yeah.
Yeah, so something might be expecting us too. So,
Steel Defender then?
yeah, I can send him down and go until he sees something or someone or something important, and just hightail it back.
Sure, I don't mind waiting a bit.
Alright. And I send him down. Again, I can't see through his eyes, but he can tell me when and if he returns.
Alrighty. If we happen to lose him,
I can make him again at a long rest. Yeah.
Alright, then if you can rebuild him, then go for it.
Alright, then I'll send him down. He can take the dodge action on his own, if that matters.
Yeah, it might matter. So he will uncover more runes. Can he read Dwarven or just you?
He understands the languages I speak.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so 113 steps later, your Steel Defender has passed several runes, so you won't get its report until it comes back. It doesn't, as you point out, doesn't telepathically communicate with you. But the Steel Defender gets down to the bottom of this staircase, 113 steps down. It finds itself on a broad road. It's 30 feet wide, 30 feet high. It's almost a perfect rectangular prism, in fact, and it apparently is quite level. We don't have a spirit level, but it looks as to the naked eye, it seems to be flat. It's dark in both directions. He has dark vision, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so
60
dark.
feet, I believe.
Excellent. Dark in both directions, but 60 feet is not nearly enough to see an adequate distance in either direction. What do you do? What does it do?
I guess his last command would have been to search. So search for any openings, or anything that seems significant, or any life, or
Right.
or I guess undead or whatever.
What were the orders for it to return? Like, at what point does it come back?
If it sees anything that is like something significant, for example, a pile of treasure, or an open doorway that we didn't notice before, or if
And then it comes
sees
back having
anything.
discovered something.
I think was
if it sees creatures.
All right. So the Steel Defender comes back and it gives a surprising report, I suppose. First of all, it tells you that the further it went down, the more that the Dwarven runes became legible. They spoke of Tediamar. They spoke of the Old Dwarven Highway. They spoke of routes. When it reached the bottom, there is an arrow going in one direction, carved into the wall, arrow going the other direction. One direction, the one going east, is marked Tediamar. The other one is marked Gauntlgrim. Anyone who can speak Dwarven probably knows about Gauntlgrim. It's a... if you know Mithril Hall as a D&D fan, like where King Bruenor comes from, Gauntlgrim is the city that Mithril Hall comes from. Gauntlgrim's a big city that was locked long ago. Something went wrong and they basically locked the adamantine doors forever. And then they went and settled in a place like Mithril Hall and Mirabar and the other surface dwarven or places that are closer to the surface. So Gauntlgrim's in the Underdark. And it was one of the most magnificent dwarven cities ever made. I mean, it's a long fucking way from here. It's on the other side of the desert. It's up near Waterdeep. Like, it's a long way away. But anyway, the arrow points Gauntlgrim this direction, Tediamar that direction. And it gives indicators, too. I don't know what the distances are, but it's probably about 80 miles. No, it's probably a lot closer than that. Probably about 20 or 30 miles to Tediamar. And probably 800 miles to Gauntlgrim.
Artisan would have, I think, taken a highway to go to where he eventually was decommissioned, and then blah blah blah. So he would have some knowledge of dwarven highways underground. Does this look like definitely a dwarven highway then?
I think this looks like the dwarven highway. The fact that it leads like 1,000 or 800 miles, that's imagine a tunnel underneath the ground that goes for 800 miles. Most surface roads in the modern world don't go that far. You know, that's a hell of a road.
But he didn't see any life forms or creatures.
He did. So he found the dwarven runes. He found the indicator. He found more coins. You know, you were looking for treasure, and he counts a handful of coins. To him is treasure. He can't really discern the difference between 1,000 and 5 unless you specify. And he also found a human baby.
Wait, what?
What?
Yeah, what? Yeah, what? A human baby in the Gauntlgrim direction.
Huh.
Hey.
Is he able to describe it to me at all?
Yes. It was a baby, and it was swaddled.
Does it happen to be wearing a crown?
Yeah.
He did not see a crown, no.
Did he see a skin color?
Black and white dark vision, yeah, but it was perhaps tanned. Yeah, you can at least tell tones, and it wasn't. Was neither black nor white. It was somewhere in between.
Hmm.
Feel like it's a trap, but
Yeah.
if there's a baby that's alive, you can't just leave it there.
Mhm. Yes, we got to go help it.
So is that
And if you
next
got-
question? If it's
I can go. I can go after it.
Yeah. Zakara's
Yeah.
gonna run down there.
Since
Well, no, I
I
can-
read Dwarven, it's probably best that I go to. In
That's
case
what I say.
there's anything.
I can turn invisible and go get it, get the baby, and come back.
Ooh. But if it's like a trap that's triggered the second you pick it up, you'll probably need backup, and we will have no idea what happened to you.
Pretty good point. It
Yeah,
might be
that's
a magical trap that invisibility might not negate.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
Zakara's not really interested in reasoning. She's more in action now. She's just gonna
Okay.
go.
Going down down the staircase.
Yep.
The Bedine women
Yeah,
plead with
so-
you not to. Like they plead with you. Like even the people that you think that that they don't care about you. Even the characters like I guess Flightless, for example, the artisan, whom like they have very little affection for at all. They plead with you. Don't go down there. You're don't be this stupid.
Do they know of any significance of this place?
Yes, it's underneath the ground. Therefore, you don't go down there.
Okay.
just like
Zakara's
try to
testing.
because you do
Oh.
like repeat that there's a baby down there.
It's not a baby. How could a baby live down there? A baby would die. What would a baby be doing in the Underdark? That's how stupid are you?
Cries
It's
and bird.
definitely
Stupid enough to rescue people like you, so we got. That's what we do. We're gonna save the baby.
So this is going on like very stretched, right? But what if like something that was kind of good is just putting gold coins to try to lead people down there to save this baby that was left?
I mean, we're gonna go. Like we got two of us are going
Yeah.
at
Yeah,
least.
I'm convinced this is a
Yeah.
trap, but
Yeah.
it's still a very effective trap because you can't just leave a baby there.
And it's worth at
Right.
least investigating to see what would leave a trap down there. Because we'd probably want to go this way if we know of it of it as an alternate entrance to Tethyammar. That the
Opposite.
Zentarum might have. Well, it goes both ways.
Yeah, but the baby's in the opposite direction.
Yeah, I'm just saying we might want to scout down there anyways, and we need to be aware of any threats that are down there.
Okay.
What better way to discover what threats by going to the obvious trap?
Oh, Zakara's running down.
All right.
Mara's behind her.
I
Who's-
cast flame so I could see.
Who's the one
Brilliant.
staying behind this time?
Just for like us to stay behind this time then.
Artisan will go down as translator for any runes.
Right away.
All right. Because the dynamic lighting has been mucked around with by Roll20, the light sources don't seem to be working the way that they. Oh, it just worked. Just worked then. Yeah, it just worked then. I can't work it out. It didn't work when I just put one down. Anyway, I'll put down two light sources, and I'll assume that one's being carried by Flightless and one's being carried by Chakra. You can pick them up when I move you over to the map.
I think I stayed up with the Bedine women this time.
Oh, you're going to stay with the beat? Okay, cool. So I'll delete you off the map then, and delete the light sources.
We
I'll-
decided, like, one person needs to stay, didn't we?
Yeah. I can have a torch on me. I'll be in front.
Okay. And so I shall now move us across.
Had to be a trap.
So you reach the bottom of the staircase, and the baby's not where the Steel Defender said it would be. It's on the Tethiamar side of the road, rather than the Gauntlgrim side of the road.
Oh no!
Oh yeah, definitely a trap.
But the baby itself is a trap, like it's some sort of shape-shifting mimic or something.
Yep.
Mhm.
Shikara doesn't care. She's running towards the baby.
You
I'll
run
have
towards the baby, and
my
it's
crossbow
just
ready.
sitting there, like in the middle of the road, just sitting there, staring at the wall.
I'll have my crossbow trained on it, just in case. If it like starts to deform or anything, I'll shoot.
Right.
Shikara's just gonna give you like just the weirdest stare. She picks up the baby.
You pick up the baby, or you attempt to, and your hands pass right through it.
Well, it's a trap.
I'm gonna keep trying to grab it.
And as you keep trying to grab it, a thunderous explosion comes from the other direction, and Mara and the Warforged are hit with a lightning bolt. Roll dexterity saving throws as a tremendous crack of lightning zaps you both.
I'm going to absorb elements.
All right. Oh, I don't know if you can.
Yeah, you need to be able to see it.
Yeah, you need to be able to
Not
see it.
reaction.
Yeah. So you get your dexterity saving throw regardless. Like even though you can't see the origin, like your instincts take over, but you don't have enough time to react. Yeah, so dexterity saving throw. Mara, you pass, 24 down to 10 to 12. Pyro, you fail. It's a full 24 points of damage, and we roll for initiative.
24.
And then the Bedine women are just like, for fuck's sake, guys. Like,
You.
God. God.
Hey,
Men!
They persuaded the bird
Men
to
and
stay.
robots!
They persuaded the bird to stay behind.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's like the worst consolation prize that they can imagine.
We got the worst one.
Exactly.
Nice.
All right. Okay. So, Artisan, yeah, it goes on. Like the Steel Defender goes on your turn. Mara, there is you are hit with a lightning bolt from behind that comes just a moment before you can react. What do you do?
So hold on, it hit both me and Artisan, correct?
My mistake. It's Lady Eleanor. I'm sorry about that. It was Lady Eleanor that it struck. So I
All right.
didn't zoom in on the tokens. Yeah,
I'll make dex save.
Partisan and Lady Eleanor.
Oh, Artisan and Eleanor, not Mara.
Not Mara at all. No, just my clumsy mistake.
Oh, that's fine. Okay, that's... And it came probably from this direction over here, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
It came from the Gauntlgrim side, which is left. Yeah.
So, okay.
The old put the baby on the other side of the staircase trick. Gets them every time.
Alright, I'm gonna innately cast invisibility as my action.
All right.
And then I'm gonna move up to see what it is.
The creature looks like a fleshy sock. It's about 3 feet long, shaped like a lamprey with a lamprey style mouth. A windsock, if you will, but lots of teeth. It has 4 spindly arms that extend in radial direction. No clear sign of any eyes, but it's looking, or at least it's facing right at you, despite your invisibility.
I mean, that's my turn. Like I've taken action and hold up. Yeah, I've moved my 30.
Okay, cool. What do you fear the most?
Mara, what does Mara feel the most?
Eleanor finding out the way she feels about me? No, sorry, I didn't say that.
No, being alone forever.
Being alone forever. Well, that's isn't it unfortunate that you are alone down here? You thought the party came with you, but apparently they didn't. Make a wisdom saving throw.
Oof.
Bum, bum, bum.
Okay. So you tap into the nightmares. You become frightened for as long as the creature wants you to be. At the end of your turns, your brain starts bleeding. You're all alone down here, and the staircase is gone. You're going to be here forever. Artisan.
I'm going to. Is the staircase provide partial cover if I go to it?
No, it should actually duck into the wall, but
Okay.
it's a bit kind of difficult to. But that works. That's a better representation. Yeah,
Then I'll run to the corner then,
that will provide cover.
and I'll cast Cure Wounds on myself.
Right. Chaka, the baby hasn't made a sound. It's just been
Not
sitting
yet.
right there. No worries. No worries.
Chaka's pissed. Oh, take Flam with me. Oh, that's 30 feet.
Do I still have my action for the?
Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah. It's my fault. Yeah, you do still have your Steel Defenders go.
I'll just have him dash forward
Yeah.
80 feet.
All right. With your dark vision, you will see the creature is a horrendous little aberration, some kind of strange mutant alien thing that flies without wings.
That'll be my turn.
Chaka.
So I've moved my 30 feet. As an action, I'll summon my Wildfire Spirit. Oh, 30 feet from me. That has a dark vision of 60 feet.
All right, I'll chuck that on. The legacy lighting might make it take. I mean, it takes a bit of time.
Mm-hmm.
60 has sight. Did that work?
Yep.
Good.
Then is that within range? Yeah. Or that's the defender, so. Alright. Then as my action I'll cast, or bonus action I'll cast Shillelagh.
Wonderful. Eleanor, it was a trap all along.
All right. I can't see this thing, so let's move forward 15 feet. Still can't see it. Another 15 feet. Still can't see it. Okay. Then in that case, let's see. I will bonus action Shield of Faith and I better dash. Move up some more. Move up some more.
I think you want a last coming to view. Yeah.
It does. It's a weird little thing.
It is. It is 3 feet long and only 8 inches wide. Conical with sharp teeth at one end and a tail at the other. It just seems to be levitating in the air. Okay, so Mara, at the end of your turn, before the spell ends, you take the damage. So you are frightened and therefore cannot approach the target.
Alright, is it within 60? Because my dark vision ends before my 60 feet. Is it within my 60?
I'll look, because like the dark vision's not. It's not working perfectly.
It's ending like 10 feet early.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Right? Like, it is actually exactly at 60 feet. Yeah.
Alright,
Yeah.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try and cast a shatter on it.
Yeah.
So it's a con save from it?
Yeah, it will, because you're within 60 feet, use counter
I'll subtle spell it.
No worries. You'll have to, you really have to specify next time.
Sorry, yeah. I will.
Yeah.
So it takes 6.
Alright. Yep, no, that's fine. And the ground begins to shake.
Alrighty. And it maintains concentration on the spell?
So sure does.
I'm gonna go ahead and spend an inspiration to try and reroll that. Nope. I take 23.
Yeah, you take 23 before the spell, before you roll anyway, so. Yeah.
That's not what the spell says. It says at the end of each of your turns, you succeed with wisdom saving throw or take 40-10. So the wisdom saving throw comes first.
Right. Yeah. At the end of each of the target's turns before the spell ends, the target must succeed. Yeah, alright, yeah, I think your ruling is correct, yep. Cool. Alright. Awesome. So it's the creature's go. We'll move here. Bam! Lightning bolt.
Oh,
Hits the baby too, actually.
not the
Doesn't it?
baby.
The baby is immune to lightning. And just about everything else.
Oh,
Let's go. Oh, the Phoenix too. Nope.
This lightning bolt hits everybody.
Doesn't hit you. You're only 5 feet wide, so it's the defender. What's this again?
Oh, wild.
Oh, the wildfire. Yeah, does it have hit points?
It does, yeah.
It does, right. So yeah, it's going to be destroyed most likely. Chaka and our illusionary baby.
How much damage?
23.
Hey, it's alive.
Oh, really? That's fantastic.
It had 25 HP. Yep.
All right.
So still Defender takes half damage, right?
On a successful save, it will take half damage, which is 11.
All right.
Doesn't.
I don't know how the mechanic would work, but if I slap heroism on someone who's already frightened, do they stay frightened?
Not sure.
What the
You
spell
might,
is.
yeah.
Oh, I have it too. I'll have a look. Immune to being frightened. It becomes immune to being frightened. I'm not sure if that ends frightened if it's already suffering from it.
Till the spell ends, into being frightened. Oh, being frightened. The word "being" would assume that it can't be frightened after this. But
Tweet from Jeremy Crawford. Heroism spell would suppress frightening effect that is already under attack.
excellent. So there's your roll.
February 8th, 2016.
All right, so it will.
Sorry, maybe we'll go through this fast.
Absolutely, good work.
I mean, I know this has been asked before because that's a common, like, it's a first level spell and a common effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you have heroism now.
Wow, I'm no longer frightened. Thank you. My friends are here to help.
So, and you gain a temporary hit points of what is that?
Your imp modifier.
Spellcasting ability. So 3
Awesome.
temporary hit points on top of the what you've lost.
I will take that because that 4d10 hurt.
Has the thing retreated?
Yeah. I guess you probably can't see it, but Eleanor would have been able to, and yeah, it's backed off and also changed position, so it's no longer in the same line.
Still Defender runs up to it and looks at it. And that'll be my turn.
All right. Chaka.
Oh god, I'm an idiot. Alright, sorry.
Yeah, I'll start by moving forward by 30 feet. And I'll command the wildfire spirit to fly 30 feet. Can't see anything, so I'll dash.
Rightio. Eleanor.
Right. Backing up, trying to stay out of my range is quite frustrating. Let's see. Move up by full movement speed. Still not going to be able to get to it. I don't want to get too far ahead of the party either. I will move. Let's see. Trying to get an awkward angle so it can't get a really sweet lightning ball
Ha.
off. Yeah, I'll dash here. So he'll struggle to get a god tier lightning bolt.
Excellent. Mara, you can't see it. Oh, you're not frightened anyway, so it doesn't matter, does it?
Nope.
Does
All right.
Phantasmal Killer still deal damage even though you're not frightened?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just that you can face your fears.
Mm.
You might be all alone, but that doesn't mean that you can't be a hero.
I just got
Alrighty.
hit square in the back with a hammer too. So
I will move there, and I will also cast suddenly cast a Cure Wounds on myself.
Excellent.
And I think I'll do it at level 2.
Brilliant. That's pretty effective.
Damn, that's a lot more than I thought. That's 29?
Yeah, not 19. That's 19.
Oh, 19. 19. Derp.
Yeah.
Sorry. That puts me at 35.
And you can make a fresh wisdom save.
Of course not.
Unfortunately, your worst fears are coming true. And every put point you get, you just gain back is lost again. And it's as if your spell didn't do anything at all. Not only you've been abandoned by your friends and your god.
That's okay. Heroism ate 3 of that, so I'm at least doing a little better.
Very good. The Faereme has been retreating steadily this whole time, but now that everyone's closing in upon it, it retreats a hell of a lot faster. Beginning with a spell. It just blinks out of existence. Eleanor and the Steel Defender will see it appear 30 feet in the Tethymar direction. But then it just powers on ahead and keeps going.
do you mean the other way, or is he running towards us?
No, Gauntlgrim. Thank you for pointing out like my my error. Yeah, artisan.
I don't think we're going to be able to catch up with it.
Probably not.
So I'm just going to run up to Mara, seeing blood coming out of their ears or whatever, and hit them with Cure Wounds.
Yeah, not a bad choice.
Mm-hmm. Would Phantasmal Killer stop? Like, get out of the 120-foot range?
No. I mean, I don't think so. I'm happy to share the spell again,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I was looking at it, I'm just not sure.
no, like
Really BS if you can just cast it on someone that just teleport to the other side of the
yeah.
You can't do that with, like, what is it? Heat metal?
As long as you can maintain concentration, it's going to keep persisting. Yeah. I presume even you can even travel to a different plane. I'm pretty sure. But I don't think traveling to a different plane breaks concentration.
Uh-huh.
Sounds like you need to chase it down then.
Yep.
I just need to get a decent roll. Also, at the beginning, I totally forgot I had Favored by the Gods, which would have added 2d4 to my initial decent save of 10.
Right.
Mm.
That's on me. I forgot.
Yeah.
I find it hilarious that I nat 1 on a Cure Wounds there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty insignificant.
Hey, I'll take 4 HP.
My Steel Defender then would, I guess, start retreating as well.
You mean Steel Aggressor?
Mm-hmm.
Chaka, they're retreating, but Mara is still bleeding from the ears.
Well, I'll dash forward 60.
Uh-huh.
And command my spirit to do the same. Or I guess I'll move up 30. I don't think I can see anything.
Don't think so, no.
Yeah.
It powered away. Yeah.
They'll dash.
Yeah, still can't see it.
Mm-hmm.
Lady Eleanor.
I'll call out to everyone that it's retreating into the Underdark. It'd be foolish to follow it.
Fire spirit would emit light, right? Like, does it, or
It does not.
it's just not? How bizarre.
That's dumb.
It's kind of
Yeah.
dumb, you know. It's an not an oversight, but like it's rules like that are pretty silly in 5e. But anyway, yeah, Lady Eleanor, I interrupted what you're saying.
Just telling the party that it's retreating, and is it pretty obvious that Mara's freaking out?
Oh yeah. Like she might not be saying where is everybody, but she's not responding when people are healing her. She just can't even tell that they're there.
This isn't normal behavior, so I'm going to cast Bless on her and say,
All
"Snap
right.
out of it, Mara."
But she doesn't hear you. Or maybe she hears you in her head. Maybe like it's like her own conscience talking to her.
It's
But
that scene where you're hearing that voice in the distance and you don't know where it's coming from. That kind of dream
Perfect.
state thing. Yeah.
All right. Mara, your go.
Alright, I will hit myself with a first level Cure Wounds. Alright, here we go.
Here we go.
And I will also hit my Blessing of the God, or Favored by the Gods, for initial
That'll-
2d4 on that.
That'll do the trick. I think the DC is like 14 or so. Ooh, even if it's 15. It's not 16, I don't think. It might be 14 or 15. It's 13. So yeah, so you pass.
Okay.
3 nat ones. Jeez.
Jesus Christ, my dice.
All right. You remain where you are, or retreat or advance.
She will fall down sobbing.
Brilliant. It was all in your head.
Once we're out of the tunnel and back up into the desert sun above, I'll give her a big hug, trying to console her.
But first, you will dodge a lightning bolt.
God damn it! One more lightning bolt.
Define you.
Yeah, who's you?
The fire spirit and Lady Eleanor. The fire spirit's the only creature that it can see, so it shoots it, and Lady Eleanor happens to be in a convenient line.
That's exactly why I didn't put my Steel Defender there. It did the die.
It had 3 HP.
It did the die.
Uh-huh.
Did that roll? I don't think it did. I'll try it again. No, it might roll again a second time. Probably going to come twice now. Or maybe that's right. The spells don't work on this one for some reason. I made the token up years ago, and I don't know why, but it doesn't work.
Yikes! I'm gonna need to inspiration this one. What was the DC for it? Not 13.
13. Yeah,
Oh,
DC
just
13.
barely then.
Just barely.
That would have
33
knocked me
halved?
twice.
16.
Jesus. I would have been left at -1 if that was 5.
This is like a 7th level caster.
Yeah,
5.
well, you don't get you don't get Phantasmal Force until 7th level, so yeah. Phantasmal Killer, I mean. It's a 4th level spell. Yeah. Artisan, sure going. The lightning is they just keep coming. Zzz, zzz, zzz.
Might be shocking you scream.
Want to hit Lady Eleanor with the Cure Wounds.
Appreciate it.
What little I can do. And going to get to where try to help Mara up and still defender will as well. The help action. But I won't be able to do anything. Still defender will.
All right.
I guess he's helping me my next turn.
Chaka.
Chaka's not suicidal. She's very reckless.
No.
Yeah, she's running away.
Yeah. You're running into the darkness after something that can teleport and cast lightning bolt and make people bleed from the brain in its own territory. After you've been warned by countless old wives' tales not to go, or sooner or later, logic and common sense
it's
snaps
just
in.
the fire spirit dying. She had no chance to catch it now.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. Tactical
Yeah.
retreat.
All right, Lady Eleanor. The party is indecisive. They're moving backwards and moving forwards. They're moving forwards and moving backwards.
See, is Mara prone? Her tokens tilted.
Yeah.
She said
After the
she
spell.
yeah.
Well,
She's not
seeing as-
coping.
I mean, how would you fare after you realize all your worst fears? You know?
Yeah,
true.
absolutely. Yeah. Very much agree.
She came back too, and there was one of the party just standing beside her, and she didn't even realize it.
Yeah, you're a cold, unfeeling robot. Like, psh.
Fuck off.
Well then,
Hits you with war pick.
seeing Artisan and Steel Defender already trying to pick her up, I'll move back a little bit, just so I stay in with them, and I'll give myself 20 HP with Lay on Hands.
Brilliant.
That's it.
Mara, you are being rescued.
Please do not resist.
She'll stand up, move her remaining 15 feet, and then dash 30.
All right, Artisan.
I'm going to dash my whole thing. And my still defender will do the same, but try not to be in line with me. Or you know what? He can already head up the stairs. No, he would go slightly off map.
Chaka.
Lady Eleanor, it's time to go.
We're right behind you.
I'll just take the dodge action.
And Eleanor.
Dashing. Full movement speed.
All right. 113 steps later, we are back on the surface in the pleasant 35-degree heat.
Coming out there all frazzled from the lightning bolts, and the Bedine women looking at us like, "Told you so."
They're terrified of you right now, and they start whispering to each other. Mara, would you like to make a perception check to hear what they say?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You can't understand what they say, but they are not terrified of you, but they no longer trust you. You've gone down there. You've come back. It's like burying someone and they rise from the dead. They're not the same. They don't trust any of you anymore.
We only trust the bird.
They only trust the bird.
And he just squawks at you.
They try to explain to the bird, they can't understand it, but they are trying to explain to the bird that something is wrong. Bird, you can make an insight check if you want.
Bird will make insight. Bird.
You work out through the gestures. Your meet and drink is piecing together information that you can't necessarily understand and repeating it. And these women are afraid for a number of reasons. First of all, that's not necessarily the party. That might be an illusion. That could be some kind of... Exactly, it could be shapeshifters. And worse than if they are a shapeshifters, it might be them after all, but they might be pregnant now.
The creatures of the Underdark work in mysterious ways, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, that might not be our allies, and if it is our allies, that could be worse, because they might be pregnant now.
I think he doesn't put much stock in them being too much different, but he'll stick with the Badine women, under the idea being, if he just goes back over to them, the Badine will end up trusting no one in the party, which we don't want.
Right. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, not a bad way of looking at it.
Do you communicate their mistrust of us?
Yeah, I'll let you guys know, but from where I'm standing to you, so I won't go over to you.
Hmm. Well, perhaps in a display to try and prove that we're not corrupted or different people or anything of that kind of nature. I'll sort of make a grand display of stabbing the bottom of my halberd into the sand and letting my ethereal golden wings emerge from my back and making my halberd glow.
And they tell Flightless, through mimes and innuendo and gestures that the creatures below the ground are terrible sorcerers, and this demonstration of power that Lady Eleanor has just shown us is a fraction of what even the youngest of these monsters can do.
So I like to think that you're deciding to do this display, and Flight is just shaking his head at you.
And this doesn't confirm it for them, but it does back up their assertion. Like looking at a thief and then discovering that they have 100 gold pieces. It's not evidence, but it is. It somehow confirms previous suspicions.
If you communicate to that to me, then I'll be pretty offended.
His head at you as you're displaying magic. So he'll do hand signals to artisan and say maybe the distrust will fade with time.
This isn't magic. This is divinity.
He'll just sort of shrug at you, it doesn't make much. They don't see the difference.
These savages realize I am a god.
Do they think the machine is still the machine, or do they think it's also...
That's a good question. They don't necessarily think you're pregnant, but you might be an illusion. If the rest of them are illusions, then you will be as well. In any case, they really urge Flightless to come with them into the desert. We need to get away from these people before they have their babies. It will be too late for them. Once they have their babies, it will be too late for all of us.
I guess it'll be monster babies is what they're worried about.
Yeah. Oh yes. And they make a popping noise, like the tummy exploding.
Yes, he'll try to gesture to them that maybe we should find the tribe. Well, hope to find the tribes before that happens. Then
we should do it alone without them. We should you don't understand. These aren't the same people who went down.
Yeah, but what happens if a bunch of like Zentarum find us?
I would rather be taken by the Zentarum than impregnated by a monster. This is a life of slavery is still a life.
Can I try to like calm them down by saying I'd protect them from like the party if they do turn out to be evil?
How? There are too many of them. You can't stop them, you are the weakest. You couldn't stop one of them, let alone all of them.
The Bedouin women speak the truth and he knows.
Right? They're not insulting you, they're just, like... it's just, as far as they're concerned, it's a fact.
I mean...
And you probably feel the same way.
It's probably true as well.
Probably true.
Well, if they're so nervous, they can just find their traps on their own.
They think they're really, really, really seriously considering it.
Okay, can I get them to calm down for at least like 3 or 4 days so we can? Because like, how long?
3 or 4 days.
How long does it take for demon babies to get born?
They don't know. So they don't know. All that they know is that once you go down, you never come back. You never come back the same.
Well, if it takes multiple months for like humans to do it, like maybe 3 days would be good.
Make a persuasion check at disadvantage.
I'll use my inspiration.
Sure.
Seven.
Since you will not come with us, please, may we take the horses with the water. We will find our own way.
He doesn't know what to do.
Your friends don't need water anymore. It's better that they die of thirst.
I never needed water.
This is a disaster. To have come all this way and only to be abandoned.
They have very little chance of surviving. I'm pretty sure.
They have very little chance of surviving. They don't have a sword.
They don't speak common.
It's,
Because I could.
some of them are saying, "Look, let's just go to Sandfort Sham." No, we can find our tribes, but we can find your tribe. What if we don't? What if we find the wrong tribe? They say, "Stop weeping! This is the worst outcome. Why didn't they listen to us?"
Jeff
Why
that
didn't they
he's
listen?
going to say something to them. Like
Yeah.
And then he'll go back to the party and say, like, maybe you guys, I'll like lead them and you guys follow along, like behind, like stealthed.
So we'll be.
All right. You guys have a head start. We'll wait here for a bit.
He'll do that thing like waving bye to them, and he'll go back over to the women and gesture that he's staying with them, that he'll leave like the demon people behind.
All right.
It's only stalking if they get spotted.
So, what does the rest of the party think about this? The women taking all of our water and leaving.
Well, it's not ideal to say the least, but because we can't do anything about them being superstitious.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you've broken their taboo. Their greatest taboo.
We've done it before, though, as a thing, haven't we?
Not in Anarok.
No.
Not in front of them.
Yeah.
And the Underdark and the Anarok is different.
It is. Yeah. You can live as a drow for 500 years in the Underdark on the east side of the Desert Mouth Mountains and never run into one of those things. here the first time we come across a set of stairs. Bam, there it is.
That was just a young one.
That was just a young one.
So what do you think of the plan of you guys just following up behind? Like, just following the trail?
Yep.
Alright. Alright, well if that's our plan, Carrick, Flightless, you can roll a d30. Sorry, yep. Any input?
Are they? Do they think my Steel Defenders are bad?
They never trusted you from the start.
No.
That's the truth of it. You know, like I'm getting so many aliens analogies right now with the chest bursting and all the rest of it, and Ripley didn't trust the android for a damn good reason.
Damn it!
They're all aliens
Alright.
fans. All these Badine women.
That's alright. They live aliens. This is Newt, 35 times of Newt. You know, you got 35 Newts here. Yeah. All right. 5. Here we go. 5. All right. All right. Flightless. What's your passive perception?
At 24.
Ridiculous. Yeah. You are being observed. Followed is probably the right phrase, but more being observed is more correct. There are reptiles. Some of them are 3 feet tall. Some of them are 7 feet tall. They look vaguely like lizardmen in that they are humanoid reptiles, but instead of being green, they're like a sandy brown, like a yellowish brown, to match the camouflage of the desert, I guess. There are several of them. At first you think there are 2 or 3. It's more like 20 or 30. But they keep their distance. They keep a significant distance. In fact, they don't come within, say, 500 feet of the party, or that's our forward party. But they kind of match our speed. They move faster than we do, you know, like a lizard might, running like those frill neck lizards do. But every time you look behind at a rocky outcropping, there's another one. It's camouflaged, and the women can't see them, at least not yet. You notice them before the women do, and as I said, they don't like ambush us. They just seem to be keeping a pace with us.
And if I point them out, it'll just cause panic, and it might cause the ambush to happen. So just ignore them, and just
Alright.
if they get within like 200 feet, you'll obviously just stop and directly look at them just to make it like, oh, I've seen you now.
350 feet or so, and when you directly look at one of them, one of the older women whispers to you and indicates that we are being followed. She doesn't seem panicked, just overly cautious, the way an antelope might be when there's a pack of lions watching, you know, up on the ridge. You know, they're not running yet, but they are agitated and flighty, which is the default state for these poor girls.
First, you'll do the phrase are they hostile?
Yes. They show that they eat meat. You know, eat meat. Asabi, they call them. Asabi.
Supposed to say, keep moving, maybe find help.
Soon the rest of the party notices them. You know, even if the Badine women get out of eyesight, you're able to follow the tracks. There's not a sandstorm yet, and so the tracks will remain until there is a sandstorm. But you also become aware that you're being flanked on both sides. They never get closer than about 350 feet, and usually they stay further away than that. But there are a lot of them. There's probably one of them for every one of our party, including the women. 20, 30, maybe even 40 of them. Some of them 3 feet tall, some of them 7 feet tall, and all heights in between. They look at you with these huge, bulbous, snake-like eyes, but do their best to remain relatively hidden. Occasionally, you'll hear their rattling voices, their rattling calls, which might alert you to them, and then they duck behind a rock or an old structure that's long since collapsed, or something. A wagon whose nothing remains but the skeleton of the wagon. They're staying not quite out of sight, but they're definitely keeping their distance.
This works out, I think, until they get closer. How much wood do we have left on the horses?
I'm not sure. Artisan put it in his bag of holding, I think.
So we don't have any?
What was that?
Something about wood.
Like firewood?
Yeah.
Is it in the bag of holding, or is it on
Yes.
the horse?
Bag full.
The firewood's in the bag of holding.
All right.
Because I did sort of have a plan that when it got dark, I would take the horses and say, I'm going to go find water, and then go out at the north of the camp and then cycle back to the party.
Sure.
To get water, but with the creatures around, it might not be safe.
Might not be. Before you get a chance to do that anyway, in the early afternoon, in the heat of the day, are we walking in the heat of the day?
That will kill us faster than if they just attacked.
Is that a no?
I think we're going to have to stop, in the heat of the day.
Alright. So inevitably you do stop then, 10 a.m. or something, you get a few hours travel in and then stop. Now, the Asabi here split the party in between the main group. I'm referring to the Bazine women as the main group now, but in between the Badine women and those of you who are trailing, you spot the Asabi close in. But they don't close in to cut you off or to attack you. On the contrary, when you move up towards you, they scatter. It appears that they're eating the horse shit. When you catch up to where the horses have done their droppings, what should be large, fresh piles of manure, 10 pounds of it, has been clawed through and spread around. You think they're eating the shit.
Is there less of it, or has it just been spread out? Are they searching through it?
I guess you probably wouldn't notice. It'd be more like the party. Oh, we got a massive passive perception. They're feeding on it. They're eating the decomposed vegetable matter.
Huh. Must be hard times for them.
One thing I think we will do, because we don't know what the intentions are, so we might, because I might get some shiny stuff out and get the Bedine women just sort of hold it, so that we sort of glitter as we move along. Make us a bit more noticeable, so maybe a passing tribe or something will maybe notice.
Sure, it freaks the Asabi out, but if any of these objects get dropped, they and when we're gone, they come and inspect them and pick them up and fight over them. It seems that whatever we leave behind, even the literally most wasteful things such as feces, even they are deemed useful enough to either consume or to use or to fight over. The Asabi are very lightly equipped. A few of them have satchels, a few of them have spears, but for the most part they have nothing at all, particularly the young ones. And so when they pick up a coin or something, it's like the only coin in the tribe, and everyone wants it.
Do I hear any of them speaking over the distance, or is it too far?
You make a perception check. They're communicating but not speaking like toddlers might, using baby language. Yeah. Maybe more advanced than dogs, but probably not as smart as a 2-year-old. At least not as effective at communicating as a 2-year-old.
I guess we can't just wait faster, so I guess we have to just bear it out and try to get moving, like as soon as it cools down. I guess as soon as
Sure.
recommend it's a good temperature to keep moving.
By now, the women have noticed that the party's following them. We would stop, and the party would not realise we've stopped until they see that we've stopped, and they're following us. I told you. They were impregnated, and they want to take us down to the kings below.
Guess you'll just sort of shrug and say, nothing we can do. Sort of like,
I guess
we're
you're
ignoring
right.
the Asabi, we're ignoring the party.
Hardly reassuring, but he makes a point. The bird's not stupid. All right. Well, come 2 p.m., it's still intensely hot, but we can't remain here forever. Or maybe 4 p.m., whenever it is that you decide is the time to move on. Chaka. Yeah, D100, please. D30.
Will that count as a short rest?
Yeah, that'll count as a short rest, yeah.
Number 7.
Alright. What, I'm going to use the term loosely, marching order. What is the marching order of the rear party? Or, we don't, do we walk in single file in a place where there are no walls, or not?
Probably fairly single file.
Hides their numbers?
Yeah.
I'll probably bring up the rear, riding my warhorse. If something happens at the front, I can get there pretty quickly.
Yeah, Chara would take the lead to follow the trails.
Excellent. Okay, so those of you who are in the rear, so namely not the bird, make perception checks. Good. The sand is shifting. But that's not like being picked up by the wind. The wind isn't picking up and blowing sand all over it. Rather, the sand in a specific area moves and then stops moving. And in a different area, it moves and stops moving. As if there is some disturbance beneath the surface.
Yeah.
Hold up. Kind of raise my hand to get him to stop moving. There's something
Have
out
you
there.
noticed something?
Kind of point to follow the shifting sand as it moves around.
Yeah, make an insight check. Chaka, the sand is flanking us and coming around behind. I'm doing a big horseshoe shape so that it's essentially going to come up from behind and then probably hit Eleanor.
I see that I'm going to cast Shillelagh.
Yeah.
I'll have my Steel Defender, I guess, post up in front of it, then in between it and us to try to intercept it.
You anticipate where it's going to be, and then it appears somewhere else. It's not like not like Bugs Bunny as he trails through and creates a single line. Rather, it's here, and then it's over there, and then it's over there. Imagine a shark that surfaces and then goes below, and then surfaces somewhere else and goes below.
Does any of its body breach the surface?
It does not, no. But the disturbance is several feet wide and much longer than it is wide.
Well, good.
put yourselves down on the map somewhere. Doesn't really matter where.
I guess in the middle.
Chuck your horse down too.
I Horsey, I am riding him.
Alright. So it seems to come around the rear, but then when Lady Eleanor moves into the centre, it flanks again and probably comes up towards Chaka.
Mm-hmm.
We wait
Yeah.
and wait. And wait. But we don't have to wait forever. It doesn't exactly take us by surprise, but but when it erupts from the ground, we don't know where it's going to come from or when, and thus it gets the first attack. It's a giant reptile, a huge reptile, very reminiscent of a crocodile. If crocodiles had flippers instead of hands, called like a hastusa or something, a giant sand crocodile.
Sure. Why not?
Why not? Yeah, they're an Anarok staple. It attacks with advantage on Chaka.
Yeah.
14?
That would hit, but I'll cast shield.
Can you cast shield against something you can't see?
Oh, no,
I don't know. I'm not sure. Hit by an attack, or when you are hit by an attack, it doesn't say hit by an attack that you can see. It just says hit by an attack.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, you can cast shield. All right, roll for initiative.
I guess you just catch out the corner of your eye just before it hits.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh, and by the way, the shield is like this super bright blue fire.
Brilliant, brilliant. The women, if they see this from a distance, they will be confused. The older
You
Sorry,
cut out
the
for
last
me.
word we heard was the older.
Yeah.
right. The elder. They are confused. The Bedine are confused, and one of the older ones. They are talking among themselves. Perhaps she is our savior. Perhaps she is not the victim of the kings below. Perhaps she is one of their captors. They are really confused. Could it be? Could it be the Shan?
The Shan.
I suppose he won't direct. Flightless won't take a side. He'll try to encourage the ones who seem to support the theory to keep talking. If you know what I mean. What, subtly support the pro party team.
Yeah. It's like imagine you're being hunted by sharks and then crocodiles turn up and scare the sharks away. It's like that's a good thing, right? Right? Yeah, maybe. All right, Mara. This crocodile bursts out of the sand. It's got 3/4 cover. Only its head comes out and the front flippers. It must be fucking enormous. Its jaws would swallow the horse whole. Well, at least swallow the back half of the horse whole.
I'm gonna move up to it, and I'm gonna try and hit it with an inflict wounds.
All right. It's having so much cover and moving through the sand makes it a difficult target.
Oh, I thought it just popped out of the sand.
If it made an attack, is it?
Do you attack, but like shuffled back into it?
Well, hold up. Well, I'm moving back. Is it under the sand, or is it? Because I thought it came out of the sand to try and attack.
3/4 under the sand. Like imagine this. It's broken the surface with its jaws and with its front flippers. Everywhere from its shoulder to the tip of its tail remains fully covered.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's still 3/4 concealed, and so I guess that still means it still has cover. I guess.
With its head the size of a horse, or the
Yeah,
half
with
of a
its
horse.
that's right. With its head like as large as the largest crocodiles that ever existed.
But it's 75% harder to hit.
Yeah, I know. Like, if you guys think that that's a silly ruling, I'm happy to concur. That would be the way that is the rules, but I'm happy to concur.
I'm fine with it. Thanks.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Fine.
Yeah, I
Because,
just changed what I'm gonna do.
If you wanna, yeah.
Because if it's
so
out and vulnerable, that's one thing, and if it's buried, then that's a different decision.
3/4 buried, so its head is exposed, but its head is the hardest part of the body. Crocodile skulls are stronger than bricks. They're amazing. You ever see a crocodile skull? They look amazing. And the vulnerable parts, the underbelly, for example, you can't spot. All
So
right.
I told it of it.
Excellent.
Okay, fine. Rolling that 20. See if I can. And I'll move back a little bit, and that's my turn.
All right.
He's descended from the Velociraptors.
Yeah. All right. Artisan. This thing shrugs off the spell. The way it shrugs sand off its back.
All right. Let's see. I'm gonna run up and just try to shoot it with my hand crossbow.
All right.
No. And my steel defender will run up and make a force attack.
All right.
No. That'll be it.
Chaka, if this thing gets a grip on you, it's probably going to drag you beneath the sands, and that will be the end of you.
Yep. I was gonna start by giving it a good old whack.
Snap!
And I'll do it with my flame blade, so like the super bright blue at the base that changes into a piercing yellow at the tips.
The Shan! They say back at the other camp. The Shan!
17 hit.
17 whacks it, but it's like hitting solid stone. The head is like the worst part that you could target. If you penetrate its eye, that's great. You could get lucky, but on a creature that's basically got natural armor, there is no armor thicker than the skull. To miss.
Okay.
Lady Eleanor, this is a terrible situation. In a normal a crocodile this size in a river could easily overturn a boat, but in the sand, it's likely to suffocate you before if it doesn't devour you outright.
You have no choice but to fight it to the death.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll move on up here. And as a standard action, I'll channel divinity.
All right.
My halberd glows brighter than it does with the light cantrip. And as a bonus action, I'll jab out with the blunt end towards it, trying to jab it right in the opening of its snoot.
Brilliant. Bam! But all you can do is make a resounding slap.
Natural too.
And this creature in its natural environment couldn't be better suited to the desert. Countless years of evolution, probably magically induced, that have made it one of the apex predators of the Anarok Desert. It lashes out with its tail. Its tail, like maybe it moves in like that or something. It doesn't really matter. But anyway, it lashes out with its tail towards Chaka and tries to knock her out.
Yeah, I take that.
Strength save. Yeah.
Ooh.
Brilliant. And as she keeps her footing, it seems that was just like, not exactly a distraction, but rather clearing the table, if you will, as it goes for the smaller and therefore more easy target, the Steel Defender. It snaps at it. These powerful jaws should easily crush, like crush a wagon. Does the Steel Defender dodge, or how does it evade damage?
Yeah, he's nimble, so I guess he'll just like dodge to the side. Little spidery
Brilliant.
fellow.
Excellent.
He out of the sand now?
No. Still just got most of his body is exposed. You'd have to dig away at the sand somehow. I know that's impractical, but that would basically be the option. Maybe it's the fact that he's not willing to come out of the sand that's the reason why it didn't strike. It's just sort of snapping. So lashes out with its tail. But because it did lash out with its tail, let's say that it's got less protection. The tail's exposed, the head's exposed, the main body is not, so its armor class is only increased by 2 and not 5. Mara.
Should I shatter it and try to clear some of the sand away?
That might work. It's an unconventional use of shatter, but it might work.
Alright, so yeah, it'll get caught in it as well, but I'm gonna try and hit it with that.
Brilliant. Your plan is a doozy, and although the crocodile only takes a marginal amount of damage, your side effect is perfect, and it rains down sand all around as if we'd stepped on a landmine.
It just barely met the DC too. So.
Yeah, the second time I've done that with the shatter spell. Both times got the right number. Artisan, who watches it snaps at your Steel Defender.
Is it exposed now? Was that what happened?
Yeah, thanks to the shatter spell. Yeah.
Step up, and I'm going to make 2 weapon attacks. Not that one. This one. Does
14 is
hit?
the right. That's the magic number. Now that the sand is gone.
17.
It's a grievous wound, but it's the first significant wound that it's taken, and it thrashes around uninjured, unused to being punctured this way, but determined to get its meal all the same.
And my Steel Defender made an attack, and that'll be my turn.
Chaka.
I'm gonna reach down to my water skin and kind of throw some out in front of me
Yeah.
and cast Tidal Wave.
Brilliant.
22. No,
Awesome. Dex save Dex. It's not particularly dexterous, particularly not being half buried as it is, or it was.
Mhm.
22.
And he's knocked prone.
Oh, knocked prone! How hilarious! So he goes into an involuntary death roll, and now his belly is exposed.
I'm not gonna let an opportunity like that go to waste.
-5 to his armor class. No.
No, it's an advantage to hit him, but yeah.
So advantage to hit him, right? So I'm gonna make. Assuming that's the end of your turn.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I'll make 2 attack. An 18, 21, 27. And I will smite on each of them with 3 first level smites.
Brilliant.
Why not?
So let's see, we've got 10, 11, 4, 11, 9, and 4. So let me just...
So 49 altogether.
Yeah, 49 damage as I just absolutely hack its exposed belly apart with my glowing halberd.
And you drive your halberd through its heart. It's killed instantly.
That Palinova does.
Mhm.
First time I've used the smite this campaign.
Really?
Yeah,
You're kidding? That's hilarious.
We
Yeah, it's
haven't really
first time
gotten
I've
into
smited.
any fights, so yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. We've done our best to avoid them, haven't we?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. This crocodile was enormous. Absolutely
Skin it.
enormous.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's a ton of leather.
Yeah.
That's possibly good meat.
Mm-hmm. Chaka's
My gosh.
writes over it and then starts skinning it to get all the meat and everything off it. Let nothing go
Are
to
we?
waste.
Are we all just skinning it together?
Brilliant. Yeah, whoever takes the lead will have advantage for everyone else.
All right.
I will, as I'm a leather worker, maybe?
I have a +7 to survival.
Oh, yeah, you do that.
Yeah, you go. You go.
All it's
Ooh,
pretty
natural 3.
Or, oh, yeah, 20 actually. 20's fine.
Brilliant, brilliant. So yeah, you get a huge amount of leather. That's enough leather to make either a single large size creature, so you can make leather barding for a horse, or 4 medium creatures, or 8 small creatures. You got so much crocodile leather here, and it's really good quality stuff. Looks brilliant. It's supple. It's strong. Crocodile leather is some of the best leather that you can get.
Super good for cooling you off, too.
Absolutely, absolutely, and so much meat as well. There must be, a ton of meat, literal ton of meat.
And the teeth of these things would probably sell for a lot.
Absolutely, and then they're the size of small daggers,
Mm-hmm.
4 inches, 5, 6 inches long.
I would be willing to leave some of the meat and bones behind for the snake people to fight over.
Ah, yeah. This is what they've been waiting for, to be honest. Like this is why they follow people like you. Not for the horse shit. The horse shit's that's just the icing on the cake.
It's just a nice putrid snack.
Just seasoning.
It's hors d'oeuvres.
All right. Meanwhile, back at the other camp, you're becoming aware, Flightless, that the women, they're not viewing the party in a different light. They're just confused, right? Like, they were never 100% sure that the party were impregnated. In fact, the more they think about it, the less likely it become. They were only down there for a few minutes. And you know, the stories that they've heard, like the tribesmen might disappear for a night or for a week, and then they come back. So 1 minute and 1 week are very, very different time scales. And then when they see that they see the blue fire manifest, could it really be the Shan in humanoid form?
I suppose he'll suggest that maybe like the oldest and therefore wisest of them should go and like judge for themselves.
That, you know, she hates being the oldest. She kind of hates being the wisest as well, because, you know, because by being the oldest, it means that she has the responsibility, and by being the wisest, it means that she knows that she has the responsibility, right? Like, a wise old woman knows that it's really up to her to make this judgment call, and what a terrible burden to be placed upon one. So the oldest comes with flightless, presumably remains with the other women, and the oldest woman, or perhaps the two oldest, approach. They're in their 40s, ancient, 40 years old. And
Don't say that. I'm coming close to 40 and a half, like.
Imagine being 40 and living in a desert. Like, how dry would your skin be?
Exactly. Imagine the wrinkles that you'd have. They'd be, you know, you'd get lost in your own wrinkles.
Uh-huh.
All right, and so these two mature aged women, they talk to Mara since they know that Mara has begun to understand at least the basics of their language, and is she the Shan? Where did that blue fire come from? What happened here? We saw a blue fire.
That is an ability granted to her by nature. She is a druid, a servant of the flames.
Druids are Shan?
They use their abilities for good to protect others, to protect the forest, to protect nature.
No. That can't be it. That can't be it.
Well, I'm still getting used to your language. What is the Shan? Can you explain it to me?
And they try. And naturally, you know, all that they have is folk stories to begin with, mythology at best, and oral traditions as they are. But the story goes something like this. Now, they call the Faerûn the kings below, but Faerûn is probably a Bedine word, so I guess we can use that word. As I said, they don't know this legend very well. They only know it as a legend, and frankly, this information like this is usually hoarded by the men and not shared with the women. The women have to pick it up and piece it together and share it among themselves. Which only helps to distort the truth. But anyway, the story goes something like this. At the dawn of time, there were the Faerûn. And the Faerûn were the enemies of not just mankind, but the enemies of all life in the whole world. They absolutely hate everything that exists. And the only real pleasure that the Faerûn have is in distorting what is beautiful, taking what nature has made and altering it into grotesque forms that are in constant pain. Imagine, if you will, you kidnap a human, and in order to make them a better warrior, you create an armor out of bone, but you don't use somebody else's bone, you use that person's bone. And that means you have to have the bone grow and penetrate the skin. And yeah, you get it, right? Like, imagine a creature that forces bones.
Making a face,
right?
Like, nodding that she gets.
It's awful, absolutely awful, and that's just an example of the sort of things that the Faerûn do. They do much worse, but that's an example. The Shan are a even more mythical creature. Like, we know that the Faerûn are real. Like, that's not as well as anyone knows that ghosts and vampires are real. Like, they are real. The Shan, on the other hand, are much more mythical. Nobody's seen a Shan. You don't just stumble across a Shan. You don't go underneath the Underdark and run into the Shan the way you run into the Faerun. Instead, the myth is that at the dawn of time, the Shan, who are not the friends of humanity, mind you, they are also the enemies of humanity, but they are not the enemies of all life that ever existed. The Shan trapped the Faerun behind a thing called the Shan Wall, like a great wall of blue fire that is supposed to be as big as the desert itself. And according to the Bedim, that's the reason why the Faerun are only found here. They've never had the chance to colonize the rest of the Underdark or the rest of the world because the Shan Wall keeps them in. It's a wall of blue fire. But it's not just blue fire, it's that color blue. It's that beautiful azure blue that is the blue of the deepest seas, the blue of lightning, the blue of the early evening twilight, the blue of stars shining. It's a very intense gel color. Transparent azure blue. Like a jewel, like a sapphire.
I am not sure, like, Mars will say that Chaka is newer to our group, but has always seemed kind to life. So we do not know if she is Sharn, but she is definitely a friend to the things that are living.
They discuss it, and it makes sense to them. It makes sense to them that the Shan would only arrive when they are needed, right? Like that's what divine beings like Shan and gods and angels do. They don't turn up and hang around for 7 years until they're needed. They turn up 7 days or 7 minutes before they're needed, just like Chaka did. And thus they conclude, like, maybe you don't want to tell everyone this, but you're traveling with a god.
Well, let's keep it quiet for now.
They think that that's wise because, if you blow the god's cover, then maybe she will grow angered. Maybe she will go wroth. Maybe she will just abandon us. Maybe she'll. The best she could do is deny it. I mean, that's the very best that she could do is deny it. If she were to demonstrate her power to us, then, well, put it this way: they trapped the Shan. Imagine if they trapped the Faerun. Imagine what they could do to us. Make no mistake, the Shan are not our allies. They're not our friends. They just happen to hate the Faerun more than they hate anything else.
Yeah. So maybe it'll protect us from the Faerun when we're out here.
Exactly, right? Like having a lion that keeps away the hyenas. Yeah. Yeah. They look at it with awe, just terrible, terrible awe, which is better than the outright fear that they had before, I guess.
Maybe that's why the Faerun ran from her when we went down there.
Yes. Oh, so you did see a Faerun. That's
We did. It didn't come close or touch any of us, but it ran when it saw Chaka.
Are you sure it didn't touch any of you?
100% sure.
All it takes is a touch, and you can be impregnated.
No, it didn't touch any of us.
I have no reason to believe that you're lying, and no good would come of believing the lies. So this is strangely reassuring for them. Again, I love that analogy of the lion protecting us from the hyenas. The lion's going to kill you and eat you, but it hates hyenas so much that it'll kill them out of spite rather than because it's hungry.
Why are they staring at me like that?
I'll explain later.
No lewd hand-holding with the frame, though.
Yeah, I'll tell Chaka. I will explain later.
he kind of just grunts at you. It's like, all right.
All right. So the party is able to be reunited now. The the Badine really do feel that it's better the devil you know, or rather, it's better the devil that you don't know at all than the devil that you do know, or something. Maybe this analogy is really bad, and maybe it's going to fall apart the more I overanalyze it. But in any case, they would rather be surrounded by a ring of fire than impregnated by a monster.
The solution to gun control is get a bigger gun.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this gun is being handled by, gangsters, right? Like, yeah. All right. Well, that's all's well that ends well. Pyro.
Later, I will use a message to convey what they think Shaka is to Shaka.
Brilliant.
I mean, I don't fully understand this, but I don't think I'm a god.
It's I can tell you're not a god because you bleed like you do, but it is what will keep them calm. I am okay with it.
I don't like misleading people, but I suppose for now.
It is like a comforting lie you tell to children to help them sleep.
Like Santa Claus is real.
What do you mean Santa Claus is what?
You lie to children, you monster.
All the time. Anyways. What was it you were telling me to do?
Mother.
Yeah.
I had to say I never told my daughter that Santa was real. I told her from the start, like it's all bullshit. But don't tell the other kids that.
My gift to you is knowledge. That you're better than them.
Sooner or later,
you'll get all the presents. Don't worry.
That's right.
You're going to get as many presents as if you thought Santa was real.
Exactly. Yeah. And when you're 8 years old, yeah.
My parents made me believe in Santa because that's the only way we get presents. And if I told my sister it wasn't real, there'd be no more presents.
I just can't support that action. I just can't support that. Deceiving children. Credit. Yeah, and again, I believe in a man in the sky that saves our souls. So I think Santa's probably a little bit easier to stomach for some people. All right. So so he just Pyro just left, didn't he?
No.
Oh, D30 Pyro.
D30.
Yeah.
All right. How do you
/R space D30.
Just did a 20 and a 10.
That won't work because that'll give us that'll closer to an average, and it won't possibly roll a 1 either. That's it. Almost. The slash comes before the R, and then there's a space between the R and the D.
I know how to use this after a year.
That's it.
Did that not work? There we go.
That works. 27, my lucky number.
Mm-hmm.
It's your lucky number as well. It's death. Literally.
And then 5 million blue dragons rain down from the sky.
With blue fire! And they all come and worship you. Because you're...
And then down comes Trapdoor!
There we go. Alright. It's an oasis. So we pick up and start traveling on, having reunited the party. And shortly before night falls, when we're expecting to probably keep walking through the night for a while, but in the distance, it's not a mirage. It must be an oasis. Otherwise, why would there be all those antelope there? A whole herd of antelope, 30 or 40 of them, 30 or 40 antelope are drinking from a silver-watered oasis a few thousand feet away. Probably spot it from half a mile at least. Do we approach these antelope with the palm trees and date palms and whatever else that are swaying in the wind that's picking up as the night cools the desert air?
Yeah.
Yeah, the reward
Why
is
not?
worth the risk if it's
Absolutely.
true.
The antelope scatter. They're sensible enough that they're not going to let you get within 500 feet of them. In a great open desert like this, they've had their drink. It's time to move on. And by the time we arrive at the oasis that the antelope have now abandoned, we can find several skeletons. The skeletons aren't particularly big, like child skeletons, really. And there are a lot of them, maybe 20, maybe. It's hard to tell because they're half buried in the sand. But strangely, bizarrely, in fact, in addition to the date palms and the salt bushes and the cacti that grow around the edge of this silver-watered oasis, and the water is still kind of a silvery color, a little bit off-putting maybe. It's not the color of normal water. It has kind of a silver sheen to it, a bit bizarre. The antelopes were just drinking it though. But anyway, in addition to all of these date palms and several bright red flowers that completely line the edge of the water hole, are these skeletons of maybe children, perhaps, and a boat. The boat appears to be on a sled. The sled appears to have been being pulled. But the rope is still there, half frayed. The sled is still there. The boat is still there. And, but everyone's dead.
Is there like an island in the center of the water or something?
No, there's not an island in the center of the water. And now that you're here, it's not just humanoid skeletons, although they make up the majority of it. There's one of those damn crocodiles with the flippers for the feet. And lizard man skeletons, like they look kind of like the Asabi. The Asabi have huge eyes, like if you've ever seen a cat skull, or even just a bird skull, like a raven or something, an owl, like huge orbits in their eyes. And so you've got these skeletons of probably lizard men or something, maybe of various sizes, and a boat.
So
Kind of want to.
on the water.
No, the boat's not on the water, actually. The boat is nearby the water, but the skeletons are pretty much universally around the water. Yeah, except for the sand crocodile, which is in the water, but can be seen. The water has this silver sheen, but it's not opaque. It's just like, it's just reflective.
I want to identify the water if we can.
How?
Is that possible?
If the water is like a magic object, then that will work. But if it's not, then no. Like, yeah.
I'm fine with doing that because we were able to identify the spring water or the extraplanar water, right?
That's a good point. Yeah. So you have identifier, right?
Yes, I have going to use a second spell slot to cast it.
All right. The water is non-magical.
All right.
Can I make some kind of druid check to see if the water is actually water?
Absolutely.
Spirits.
Yeah, definitely. I guess that's nature. I can't think of anything better. Might be survival. Nature seems better. Yeah, cool. Okay, cool. Survival's good. It's a survival situation. The water is poisonous, and yet, like, it must be because it looks like that's what these creatures have come and just drunk from it and probably died. But the antelopes didn't die. Any The whole thing is surrounded by date palms and salt bushes and cacti and bright red flowers. If you've ever seen a poppy flower, it's very very bright red. They're not poppies, but that's kind of what it looks like. Not all poppies are, but anyway, these flowers are a blood red, the same color as my icon actually. If you can see, yeah, like a bright red. Yeah. Your survival check will give you one bizarre piece of information. The skeletons consist of goannas, which is a type of lizard, crocodiles, asabi, which is a type of lizard man, and those smaller skeletons, of which there are like 20, are kobolds.
So they're all reptilian?
They're all reptiles.
Alright, I don't feel so worried now then. I'll drink some water.
The water tastes a little bit odd, but it's refreshing in the same way as, if you've ever drunk, if you're used to fresh water, but then you drink water from a city tap, it's, full of fluoride and magnesium and whatever else. It tastes off, but it's perfectly refreshing.
Don't worry, the water is only poisonous to reptiles. I'd be a little careful like this.
So tilts his head at you.
Huh.
It's just, you're not quite a mammal.
He'll point at his feathers, but he won't drink.
Are tieflings mammals? Yeah, they have hooves, right? Sometimes. No, never mind.
I would call them. Well, they have mammalian glands, so.
Alright.
So can I try to identify the red flowers?
Yeah, that'll be a nature check.
Maybe these ones are more in the Underdark. Maybe I've seen some of these in the Underdark.
No, probably not in the Underdark. Or maybe you have. Maybe the Drow have imported them from the surface to the Underdark because they are the primary component made in the Assassin's Blood poison. It's as I recall, Assassin's Blood is it's an ingested poison. Pretty damn heavy stuff. Though you might be able to make the leap of logic that this either doesn't affect mammals at all, or it affects reptiles much more severely than anyone else. Yeah, so these are the prime components in Assassin's Blood, and they are either extremely effective against reptiles, or they only affect reptiles, one of the two.
I'll use Mage Hand to pick some.
Yeah, sure. There's plenty of them around.
They're called what type of mushrooms again?
They are just we'll call them Assassin's Blood flowers because I can't think of a better word.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Sorry, Underdark put my brain on the track of mushrooms.
Yeah.
Are any of these skeletons worth a lot?
So I'll take about 10 flowers.
Maybe the crocodile, but we've already got one. Yeah, no worries. You can take 10 flowers. Yeah. And between the pair of you, you'd probably take that'd probably be around about. There's more than 20 flowers, but there's enough for 20 doses of poison.
I suppose we don't
Cool.
want to take all 20 because we want stuff to regrow here.
I will totally
Sure.
take all 20. Unless somebody else wants some. But I will take as much as I can get.
While you're collecting them, you find that the trees had been marked with elven runes, and we can obviously understand elven, right?
I can, yeah.
Like this
Yeah.
he understands elf.
Yeah. They are markers in elven that basically says safe. Yeah, safe.
It says safe.
Yeah, like elves have marked trees with runes that won't really hurt the tree. They're just carved into the tree in a way that is permanent, but not going to be lethal to the tree in any way. And the word safe is written in Elven. Relatively recently, by the look of it. I say relatively recently, I mean like a month ago or something.
It reminds me of like people marking buildings and stuff.
Well, the elves say this is safe, so I trust them.
This might be one of the best places to run into wandering tribes.
Perhaps. They might also see it as a cursed ground from all the dead bodies.
We can always ask the Badine that are with us. What do they think of this place?
They want to know what the boat is and what it's doing here. That's what fascinates them the most. The fucking boat.
Do their people know of the dead things? This place?
They know the Asabi. After all, they were following us. They know the Hattori, which is the big crocodile, and they know of the elves. None of them have ever seen an elf, but they hold elves in a kind of awe and fear that's not unlike what they hold the Shan in, really. Generally, they think that elves are kind of evil, basically. Very selfish, very racially orientated, as in, elves. In their tribal tradition, elves are to be feared because elves only care about elves. That's all they care about, and they are known to sabotage waterholes or raid caravans or whatever. If it makes sense to the elves, who can understand the mind of an elf? Why would you go ahead and poison an oasis deliberately? But that's what elves do.
I suppose there's also maybe a bit of they probably won't admit it, but there's probably a bit of jealousy. It's like, we're kept out of the forest with infinite food and water. We live in this desert. The elves don't want us in there.
That's the reason. That's exactly it. If they can make half of the creatures of the desert die when they drink this water, then that means that there's double as much water for us.
Mm-hmm.
If only we could invent a poison that kills everyone except for elves, then we'd put it in every oasis. Yeah.
I mean, why stop at the oases? Yeah. Just tip buckets of it into the ocean until all the water's poisoned.
Absolutely, and the air as well.
How big is this body of water?
Oh, how big? We're all familiar with backyard pools. It's bigger than a backyard pool. Yeah.
Okay, but not big enough to where you'd actually need a boat on it.
That's right. They're not big enough. Like the boat would. No, definitely not big enough for a boat.
Have anything in it?
No, there's nothing in the boat. No, but it's on a sled and it's apparently being hauled. There's rope still attached to the forefront of it.
Does it have a place to mount a sail?
Yes.
I wonder if they use this boat to travel across the desert.
Almost like a sand ship.
Yeah. Oh well. Should we set
it has space or set up? Is there a sail nearby?
There was a sail. It's probably been a little bit torn over time. The boat's probably been here for a month or so, and in that time, the sail has ripped a little bit. It's still mendable, but if you're on the sea, you wouldn't want to go to sea with a sail this badly damaged.
Is it mendable?
Yes. Mending will fix it, yeah.
Proceeds to perform mending.
Alright, you now have an intact sail, an intact boat, But even when the wind blows really strong, the breeze is not strong enough to push the boat. It still weighs 10 tons. It's a big boat. It's not huge, but it is big. Like a long ship, like a Viking long ship, something like that. Big enough for 20 kobolds anyway.
Are these the pirate kobolds from the other campaign?
I thought someone would pick up on it sooner or later. This is the kobolds. This is the tragic end to the great kobold adventure.
No.
Is there any loot on their ship?
Nothing that hasn't already been taken by somebody else.
I was gonna say that, like, if you're the first ones to find it, maybe, but otherwise they're just terrible pirates. Then again, they are kobolds, so.
So, little context from the Saturday night game. One of my characters convinced a group of kobolds running an inn that they should go become pirates and that they need to cross the desert to find the ocean. So she taught them how to make a boat, and they drug the boat across the desert.
This is how far they got.
Mm-hmm. Very successful.
What, a day's walk in? We might as well make camp here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'd say we
keep you
can
safe from
wait
crocodiles.
for a day. Yeah, just like put out bowls for the crocodiles as they're coming to attack us. Hope they take us. Whatchamacallit? Yeah, we could probably stay here for a day or two and see if any of the wandering tribes visit this watering hole.
We can do the smoke like before.
Yeah, we can also
And especially if
maybe
they know
smoke
this
some of this
place.
meat to preserve it.
Ooh. A very good smelling signal fire.
That sounds good.
Sounds good to me too.
All right. So as the sun sets on the outer rock desert and turns the water from silver to gold, the women can't help but keep looking at Shaka out of the corner of their eyes. But if she catches their eye, they quickly look away. And the party has become strangely united here in this desolate wasteland. At a poisonous oasis surrounded by beautiful bright flowers that we've now picked. And as the cool descends upon us and the intense heat of the day becomes a frigid cold, we are one step closer to our objective. But what even is that objective anymore? Are we still primarily looking for these Bedin tribesmen? Because we're coming to the point now where we're approaching the mountain range, the Scimitar Spires, and beyond that, the Bedin women can tell you, the Great Shadow Sea, the mountains, from the mines of Tethiamar, from Sandfort Shembril. Are we still just going to keep wandering the desert until we find someone?
I mean, it's only been one day, I think, on the desert.
Yeah.
Good point.
Day and a half or so, yeah.
All right. Well, with that decision made, yep.
If we give up now, we would have spent more time walking here than we spent searching.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, Chaka's looking still for the druid information, so he's ready to go to the Shadow Sea.
Excellent. All right. And as the heat of the day turns into the cool of the night, we shall leave it there for one more week and say goodbye to both of our fans on the internet.
Goodbye, internet.
Goodbye, internet.
Thanks, everyone.
Internet.
Oh,
Well,
also, I think next session was probably going to be my last. Things are opening up, and Thursday nights are the only